Up, everybody? 10 times now. AJ Word Artist, Mr. Witch, Coach Jai in the building. What's good, man? What's good? We know we're a little tired. We on colored folks' time, but it's all good. We made it. We on God's time. When God said we were supposed to be here, that's when we here. Damn that. Damn what you heard. I'm telling you what it is. Why when I look on Facebook, everybody's arguing or screaming in the camera? I don't know what's going on with Facebook. People they just angry and didn't like making videos about being angry on Facebook.
Well, see, I think what it is they're needing a comforting poem to wrap around them and hold them in place so they can,
Gotcha.
Don't you remember that song? Who was it? God. It's a girl, stop your weeping. I can't remember who's saying it. I can't remember. It's either might be Bloodstone or somebody.
Okay.
It was like, girl, stop your weeping. It was like, and the way he was saying it was like, come here, girl, stop your weeping. I got you.
I like poems that grab you like that. You know what I mean? Or any lyric that actually snatch you into a position. You're like, oh, okay, let me sit down and calm down.
I think people are still in a violent phase because there's so much tension and so much built up in them, and that's the only way to express it. Like, people don't really want to be quieted and pampered and pacified. It's been many pacifiers already, and that people just want to bust through their pores with everything that they are without anything smothering them, and I think that's what's happening.
I can get that. I can get with that.
And I'm just to piggyback on that, I think that since basically the other side found an outlet through the last administration, and you see they're outspoken, about everything and anything, and it was almost like we were hushed. Our voices didn't matter during that time. It was like we're America First agenda. We got all these things going on, and we said, hey, can you please listen to us? And now people finally, and they can go outside too. You can go outside and talk to people. And it's bad when you've been in the house yelling at yourself for a long time.
It's real bad when you've been in the house yelling at yourself all this time. Yeah. Yes, AJ's on the line here with me too. AJ, Mr. Witz, and myself, we're here. We're gonna do some Mother's Day poems. We're gonna celebrate Mother's Day. We start Mother's Day celebration early. YouTube is Coach Josh Smalls on YouTube. On YouTube Live, Coach Josh Smalls should be easy to find. Just put it in the search; it should be easy to find. And Mandy is in the building. What's up, Mandy? And yeah, we gonna playing for others. I like that. That's a cute name. Cute name. Well, if you do, don't take it wrong. Just don't take it wrong. And then you gotta be real careful how you say things these days, because everybody is real brittle. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying. I don't mean no disrespect. I mean,
everybody has collapsible emotions.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. I can't be, But
Mina's showing out on y'all, ain't she?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You gotta say, like, these fools don't know what I'm about up in here. They don't know what I'm about.
So if you're coming on my IG, I'm on with Mr. Witz, AJ Word Artist. We're gonna talk Mother's Day poem. We're gonna talk stories about our mothers and we're gonna start the Mother's Day celebration early. That's what we're gonna start doing. So invite your parents, invite your moms, your aunties, your sisters, your baby mamas, baby mama. All of them, invite them in. We're going to share some love, some poems for women for Mother's Day, and just celebrate what womanhood is. Because what people don't understand, check this out, y'all, what we talk about one day. And I didn't think I paid attention to this until we was having this conversation. It was me, Tamika, and it was her mom. And they were saying that all of their eggs, they're born with all of their eggs within their womb already, within their uterus already. All their eggs that they're ever going to pass are already there. So that means not only were they in their mother, but so was their children in their mother, in their grandmother. Isn't that amazing? To think that a woman who bears children, right, also has her grandchildren's eggs within her.
Mm.
Wow.
Man, I'm finna, this conversation get heavy already. I'm trying to get to this.
But it just shows. So I'm not going to go into religion and spirituality, and all that, but there is a form of a creation, a creator, if you would, however you believe in that, right?
Yeah.
And just
what about G? I just logged on. I'm here with Coach Job, Mr. Witts. We're on 10 times now. We're starting a little late today, but this is Mother's Day edition 2021. So tune in. Go to Coach Josh Smalls on YouTube, Coach Josh Smalls on Facebook, on IG. We finna have this conversation. We just open. So yeah, appreciate you coming through, listening. Just check it out, Jetline. We here. Here we go. Yeah. I'm sorry, Nat. So what were we saying?
I'm just saying, like the magnificence of whatever the creator is, or he, she, however people believe in that, right? But to just the idea of creating humanity in that way, because like coming from the rib and all that, I can't digest that. Not if we all have to come through a woman. I ain't made. Mina didn't come from my damn rib. She came from someplace else and then in her mama. So I don't understand that part. I'm not going to get into it. But it's the idea of having the magnificence of a woman and all that she entails. All of those eggs that pass, that don't become, right? She don't get pregnant during that time or whatever the case may be in the beginning and so on and so forth. But all of that opportunity for human life form to come through a woman is amazing, AJ.
But you know I'm saying in all these reality shows, in the last 5 years, the most recent occurrences, everybody's trying to get their eggs saved. So and that you say this, it's amazing that it's also coinciding with us not knowing why they're doing what they're doing, but they have the money to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
To preserve life because they don't need it. And then they can have somebody else carrying.
Somebody else carrying. That's a whole nother thing there too, right?
Yeah, it is. That's amazing.
I have two friends that are close friends of mine, whom I've shared a conversation as far as being, I wouldn't say a sperm donor because it'd be different, and each have said to me, I would love to have your child because of who you are. But I know that having your child, you cannot not be in that child's life. And that's the only reason why I would have to go another route. And I had to think about that. That is a beautiful thing for them to say, but just the magic and what they believe in my person, right? But that's just like, wow. I mean, that's such a salute, if you would, right? That is giving people their flowers on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I'm saying it was a friend of mine asked me, she's married. She married a love of life, a lady, and she said, "Look, we want to know if you would donate." And I'm like, I gotta think about that because I ain't an absentee kind of guy, but you can ask my sons and they would tell you differently. They would think differently. But my thing is, and that's why I'm talking about memories. I think it's so important now on this Mother's Day that we talk about some things, because a lot of people say absent fathers, but nobody talk about why fathers are absent.
Yeah.
They don't talk about if the father just ran off and he was just absent from jump just because it's a cliche to do, or was he there until he could no more be there? And there's some things that we don't discuss. It's like we need to go beyond the taboo subjects that we have and have the real subject on, okay, so why is this father not home? Why were you raised the way you were raised? What stories did you hear about your father while he was gone? Of what made you think your father didn't love you or didn't want to be there? So there's a whole lot of things we need to ask, we need to have, we need to talk. And I don't think everybody want to have them conversations, but we got to. Somebody got to. So 10 times now seems like the best time to have it.
Yeah. Here's another thing. Let's add to that, AJ. If child support is a legal thing, why is it not legal for them to force a man to be there? Or not force him to be there, but make it so that he has to be there, regardless of what she says.
Now, I agree with what you're saying, but even deeper. See, I'm going through that battle now. I'm trying to get me an attorney to fight some things that, you know, I didn't have money to fight before. But let's say if you force a man to pay child support, shouldn't you force the mother to obey the court order?
That part.
Decree? Shouldn't you make sure, like, if you don't bring her every other weekend, every 1 weekend a month, or every summer, or every Christmas, or every Thanksgiving, you have to pay back whatever money it was at that point in time. So there should be a quid pro quo, basically.
Absolutely.
So, and it's like we can't just have one-sided justice the way it's always been. And see, we're so used to one-sided justice that we don't even inquire on how come the other side. I'm like, because that was my question. I'm like, okay, so if I'm obligated to pay this, shouldn't have she been obligated to, do the other part of the order?
Right. Where's that obligation? And then the fact that they get paid to bring in child support money. So every dollar they get paid to bring in that money. What kind of shit is that?
No, but see,
It's exactly what it sounds like.
But the most horrible part of that
is divide and conquer at its best.
Yeah.
I agree. It's all this was set up for.
It was never set up to do as it looks, to take care of the young lady or the mother of the children, right? It was to make sure it aided what welfare didn't complete, which is division of the family. It was always about making sure that they rip the man away from the family structure.
Yeah.
Because
if they don't have that stability, you have just the nurturing part. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I agree with you but also think of this way, that they decided that if we can have this red line district, we can have these railroad tracks dividing our communities. We can make sure no jobs in your community are willing to pay a living wage, but we want you to have a job and pay a living wage to children that you're not there to take care of. So now you can't live on the wage that you're making. So we don't see the long game that was played in this process. There's a long game. There are things here that nobody wants to discuss because it's like, well, he should have paid. He should have this. What if you paid and then you didn't have the receipts that you paid?
Come on.
And then you went to court later saying you didn't pay. So now you're paying again. What about that? You know what I'm saying? That's my case.
Well, it's not an accident, and it's not unrecorded that this same situation has crippled many of men. You find many of men in homeless situations, behind situations like this, and going to jail and coming out of jail with nowhere to go, yet you still putting responsibility on that back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad when these things happen because it all goes back to us. You don't have to open up these cases if we know how to communicate and build with one another.
But
that's what we have to get away from, letting them control how we control how we do our house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You let people outside tell you what to do inside your own home, then you living in the blind, because nobody lives there with you but those that are inside. So a visitor is going to see some things, but the live-in is going to see everything.
Yeah.
But how does "to death do you part" equate when the person that you agreed to is trying to kill you by taking your money, by making you, I'm saying, by doing
that's it.
Take you back to court. I'm saying we'll take you back to court, try and get more money if they think you make more money. We'll do whatever it is for them. And it's like I guess I was, at the time that mine occurred, I was kind of blind. I'm like, no, we loved each other. She would never do this. We would never do that to each other. That's not the kind of relationship we had. And you sit here looking, you sit here being fleeced. Why you think she, just seeing how your shirt fit, but she just stole everything in all your pockets and your pants.
I'm gonna tell you something I've learned. You can be in a relationship for a decade, even longer, and not necessarily know the person that you living with. It take time for people I'm telling you, man. You know, you be wondering how people live, and when you be hearing these stories, oh, this guy was a killer. Be like, how didn't she know that he was a serial killer? I know his behavior had to tell a story, but you don't know. You
Yeah.
outside peeking in. You don't know how they live. You feel me? You
Mm-hmm.
know, these are classic manipulators. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I love my women, women are they are the nurturers. They are the ones who go to the information more so than men do. So they be putting themselves in position to be a manipulator of an argument or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, not all women. I'm not doing this to target women because I love y'all. I love women more than I love men, and you know, because y'all are listen. My mother is my world. That's my superhero. Feel me? It's like she's you know how you see in the movies they had that little they give you a crystal or they give you a ball that holds all the energy of the world in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mom to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's where we got to keep this conversation right there, mothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lele,
So yeah,
I've learned.
I love women,
Yeah.
and,
I've learned so much.
that's taught me to respect them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I've learned so much when I finally allowed myself to sit back and observe and listen to what my mom was actually teaching. And so I learned when she taught us, you know, the only way she knew how to teach her boys, right? But I sat back and when I was able to actually listen to what she's saying. Now I tell a lot of people, I don't tell you to join any religious group or whatever you don't have faith or whatever you don't believe in. But I will tell you this: we were raised in the Nation of Islam, right? My mom taught us all that we know. And having a conversation with my mother, I don't care what your religion background is. If you share a conversation with my mother, you are going to find a way to believe in her God one way or another. It's just the way that she genuinely gift wraps it and places it in your lap. You can't help but you want to smell the perfume. You know, you want to make sure you got a dab on it before you leave out. I mean, she's just magnificent. She is magnificent. I hope she chime in too, because I know she comes in and out. So I'm hoping she come on here. But our mother, man, she has been our superhero. And there's no, I'm not taking anything from my dad. I want to say this too, because we celebrate mothers, right? But all three of us here, we're all fathers. And Witz and I, we did not have our dad there. But here's what I'll say about any dad. I don't care if your dad was there, present, or not. Whatever path your dad had to follow, whatever path he was down, only thing you can do is assume what you could have done in his position because you don't know. And as a matter of fact, you may not have survived in his position. And so judging a man on some things that he did, especially when he was young, you're not qualified for that. Because you don't know what you would have done in that situation. I had to do that for my pops. I had to really think about all that he's gone through and then deal with some traumas that he had to deal with and see how he compartmentalized those things to continue to go. Because my dad should not have been, we shouldn't even be here with what my dad had to go through as a teenager. And my mother saw fit to love that man anyway. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't ask those questions, AJ. We never say, well, if I was in my father's shoes, what would I have done? Because we can say what we can guess all day.
But, you know, we have to go deeper, you know, because I was thinking, you know, my father, my father worked for IT&T Grinnell in Dallas. Mm-hmm. He retired after 22 years. Then he worked for the gas company. He retired after 20 years. So he retired from 2 jobs, working, taking care of a family of 5 kids. And I never asked my father what he wanted to be when he was younger. Wow. What he wanted to be when he grew up. So I could see the mandatory hustle, but didn't know the hustle was mandatory. I could see what he did to take care of his seeds, but didn't know that was the only job. He had to work 2 jobs, retire from 2 jobs. One job gave him a watch after 22 years. you know, and I don't know what the gas company gave him, but I'm saying, but he retired from two companies, and him and his friends, they would on Friday nights. I lived right 5 minutes from downtown Dallas, 3 minutes from the zoo, but right across, see, in Dallas was dry. So you had to go almost downtown across the bridge, call it across the bridge to get some alcohol. Mm-hmm. So there was this liquor store on Cadiz right across the bridge where all these black men would gather and play dominoes under the shade tree, and they could get a tab at this liquor store. And he'd tell me, go in there and give me a bottle of Pluck. So I go and get him that Naughty Head gin, that, you know, Seagram's gin bottle, or he wanted some, whatever he wanted. I go in there and get it. The guy would get it to him, write his name down. And on Fridays, they would ante up their tab. Mm-hmm. And then they got there drinking on Fridays again. But they'd be understand you could buy anything under the bridge you wanted. Tires, if you wanted tires, you want a mink stove, you want a refrigerator, mm-hmm. you want a car, you want, you know, whatever you want, you tell somebody under the bridge and they could go find it for you with. And I'm saying, I didn't know what hustling was until you start remembering what hustle looked like. But I go down there and I didn't have my license. I would have to drive my father home sometimes. But these were, I could see him on his bad days, but not think about him on his good days. I can remember him drinking on Fridays, but not going to work early Saturday morning after drinking all night Friday. Or being at work at 4, because some days he'd take me to work with him on Saturdays. He said, look, and my father put me in a forklift. I never put a forklift in my life. I'm about 14 years old. He said, they say they're going to pay me $200 to unload this truck because they want to be on their way back. At Grinnell, pipe fitting. They had these giant pipes. Mm-hmm. So I drive this forklift, move these crates. He just showed me how to move it. And I'm riding, I'm running in the shit. You know, I'm doing whatever. He paid me $100 at the end of the day. But, wow. but I didn't know what it took to be him.
Yeah.
Until I was in the position that he was in to be me. Yeah. And a lot of times we don't know what weight feels like until it's on your own rucksack, till it's on your back. And you say, I done walked this hill a bunch of times, but not with this much weight.
I'm trying to tell you. It means a different thing. It means a different thing. But we gonna get into Father's Day on Father's Day. That's coming too.
Oh,
but
yeah.
These are the things these are the conversations that we need to have, because it's always you know the little sayings. You know, wherever he lay his hat is his home, mama's babies, papa's maybe, all that crazy shit. We have to ask ourselves where these things come from. See, what we don't realize that in this country, leaving your child, a man leaving his child is regular. It's so regular, it's damn near normal.
But it was forced in the beginning.
Come on, AJ.
Because they don't see, people don't talk about redlining. You know, the movie Them, mm-hmm. the movie Them is it's talking about a whole lot of black things, you know, a whole lot. And I've read reviews on it, and I don't agree with any of them. Because what the movie Them is about how white organizations, how white mortgage companies decided that we can make more money if we get these white people out of this community and move niggas in. And it's about Compton. So it's telling how this side of Compton was all white and all glorious. They moved one family in on one side of Compton, one black family in on the other side of Compton. But they charged them an interest rate that was, you know, so high, but we wanted to move on up like the Jeffersons. Mm-hmm. Once they moved the family in, the white people around them tried to do everything to get them out. And when they couldn't, they started moving, so they started charging other black families the same high interest rates, so it was making more money, just like the housing market that crashed in 2008. Nobody went to jail. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what people don't know. President Obama was trying to make sure those people went to jail. Some of those bank owners that did those illegal loans, he was trying to hold them accountable, but the Republicans did not want to hold them accountable, did not want any repercussions on these people doing black people the way they did, or minorities the way they did when they overcharged them for these houses, did 1, 2, 3 buy downs where your interest rate was 3% when you got in 3 years, it's 20%, knowing you can't afford it. So they sold you a house, confiscated the house, and resold the house for a higher amount. But we didn't. Even right now, they're doing the same. They're doing the same thing with the housing market. Here what they see. People not telling you why the housing market is so high right now. The reason it's high is 2 reasons. Because there was a tax cut for corporations a couple of years ago, Well, the corporations got all these trillions of dollars back. But what they did is they reinvested in the corporate. See, when you buy back your stock, you don't have that many outstanding stock and that many stock owners. So now you have more readily available cash, like insurance companies. All they got is that.
Yeah.
What they did is they had all this money back. So they started buying up these mortgages. Corporations start buying mortgages here in Las Vegas by blocks. And they would pay top dollar. So now you can't even get a house because now they're the ones that's setting the price and the interest rate for the house.
Wow.
And I'm saying it's all over the United States. Just Googling Charlotte housing market. You see that housing market is higher than it's ever been, higher than it was in 2008. And the reason is because corporations they know the best. See, my father told me a long time ago, he said, you can build a whole lot of things, but you can't make no more dirt.
You sure can. You sure can.
Yeah, you can build a whole lot of things, but you can't make no more dirt. So them buying up the housing market, buying up places and building all these houses close together so you don't have no backyard, but you want to live somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I want to add on to what you were saying too, AJ, about moving the black people around. In Brooklyn, in New York City, where I'm from, the ghetto was only for the Jewish community. And what they did was they moved the Jewish community out and moved the black people in. Then you got to remember the country that you live in, because they want to get rid of two people. I always tell you, there's niggas and Jews. That's what they want to get rid of. That was on record. They moved we were slaves. The Jews weren't, but they just was treated the way they treated them, right? And so they had them in certain areas. That's where they had to live. They didn't have a choice. But the Jews got themselves together, and when they moved out, they moved black people right into their spots. And when I moved into, I remember we had moved in, I think we moved on, it's when we moved on Sheffield Avenue with my mom. And the Jewish people never lived, every year they moved. There's some belief system they have that every year they move. They're never in the same place for a year. I think it's every year or every 2 years, something like that. And so in the plaster, they would have scrolls of their scripture plastered into their wall, I guess blessing their homes. And you would see those in those homes. In fact, when we used to go in abandoned buildings and play Manhunt and all those games we used to play as kids, right? You could see them. We used to bust the wall out in the abandoned building and pull them out, and you could see that they had folded scriptures and folded it and put it in their thing.
But do you know why?
No, talk to me. Tell me.
At the Wailing Wall in Mecca. What did Malcolm do in the movie? Malcolm when he went to Mecca. Mm-hmm. At the Wailing Wall, you write down your prayer and you fold it up and you put it in the wall. Mm-hmm. So that was a practice. But see, the reason the Jews were treated the way they were here is what they don't tell you. When Hitler was doing what he was doing to the Jews, America and other nations went over there and saw what was going on and didn't participate, didn't stop them. So they already had the Jews on a lower class mindset when they moved to America, even though everything was halted after the Holocaust.
Yeah.
But if you notice, there's so many Holocaust museums, and they just start putting up black museums recently. It's always been a Holocaust, because we could always talk about the Holocaust, but if you say anything about slavery, say, why are you bringing up slavery?
Bringing that up.
But we're gonna reference the Holocaust. This is and they got numbers, because in the poem I wrote in the Black Book of Black, is the tree poem. It's talking about how when they made superheroes, you find a whole lot of superheroes with a number across them, mm-hmm. because they're the ones in charge of creating this, so it's keeping their memory intact. Wow. So just like Magneto. Mm-hmm. Magneto was in the camp during the Holocaust. Yep. He got a number. So they always show his memories. So this is how intrinsically these ideas are placed within us. Yeah. When we go around and we see superhero movies and we remember about the Jews, we go around and see this, but we can't talk about slavery. But they have it in, and then they have books that they've New York Times bestsellers from people that survivors of the Holocaust that they have doing tours, talking to other people. But you don't have anybody. But they know where the Clotilda was. They know what the remnants of the last slave ship that came to America was. They know who the oldest person was. They know where the last slave was. But she wasn't going around doing tours and talking about how slavery was. So we got to see how we have to, until we actually understand that we are in charge of our own demise.
Yeah.
We're in charge of our own community. We're in charge of everything we do. So, and I think that's why this Mother's Day, we got to talk about growing some shit. We got to talk about how mothers kept this whole thing together when nobody thought it was possible. How we lasted all these years when it was just women in charge of shit. Why they want to pay women less than men, because they know if they actually make it equitable, women will take over this shit.
Quick. They actually have a way of dealing with some things, bro, that we men cannot even we can't put a finger on. I don't know how a woman deal with no man, first of all. What up, Lady B? But there's such a magnificence in women, and in particularly the black woman, and I say that because of what she has had and always has had to stomach and go through. If not for her being a doctor, being a chemist, being a makeup artist, being a judge, being a jury, being a correction officer, isn't a title the black woman hadn't held in her home.
But see, we don't even have to go that far. I'm saying on the plantation.
Come on.
White women didn't know how to take care of their kids.
They didn't even know how to cook.
So they had black women that the reason they impregnated black women during slavery is so they could lactate, so they could feed the white children. That's and right. their children may never even supple from their breast. Might be transferred somewhere else.
Yeah.
But she's going to be the one in the big house taking care of the kids because they need that milk. They knew the importance of feeding off their breast.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the ability to do it themselves.
Mm-mm.
So we don't delve deep into history to see exactly how this thing worked. But see, we got problems that are solvable right now. If we can sit down and stop killing each other, stop arguing about stuff, stop watching all these reality shows, stop thinking that Cardi B is dope, stop thinking that WAP is what you need to be singing about, and stop thinking that the stallion is what you ought to be. You ought to be up here, crawling and twerking and not understanding that we got problems in our schools.
Yeah,
we need to teach our kids some things. We got problems in our communities. We got problems in these places. We don't have a garden in this community, and we got empty lots. We got empty lots, and we don't have a garden.
Yeah.
So when are we going to understand that? Look, if we decide that we want to be better, we got to do better.
Got to do better. AJ, I always say that I don't know how much freedom costs, but with all the money we waste on bullshit, I'm sure we got a down payment.
Yeah, we can pay on monthly installments or something.
Come on now. And my thing is, freedom will cost you whatever a political party is. Because politics is your way to get your freedom. And my proof in that is look at what the Jewish community did. You can't walk through Congress without stumbling over a Jewish name. On every level. In a country that wanted to rid itself of those particular people. Think about that. The reason being is because they pulled their resources together. You know why the Latin community is doing so great? They don't like each other, all of them. They can't get rid of them. They don't like them. These can't stand them. They think they this, they think they that. But you know what? They will get together and do some shit.
But John, everything that you're saying is so pertinent and makes so much sense. But every group of people you're talking about came here with their history intact. Came here with remembering who their great grandfather was. They could find their lineage. They know where they were. They know what ship they came over here on and why they came on here, and they know how much money they came here with. They know that, you know, my father was an immigrant. He came here at $7.87 in his pocket. And now he got this big old building and he got this corporation. And look, y'all been here for 400 years and y'all ain't got shit. And we say, but we didn't, when we arrived, we didn't have clothes. We didn't have no shoes. You know, we didn't even keep the babies we didn't keep the children we came with us. We didn't keep the people we came with us. So when we came here, everything was separated on purpose, and the language was destroyed and history was destroyed, and we didn't have our genealogy. We didn't have no griots here telling us the stories, you know, and that's in the Black Book of Black when I wrote the excerpts from the unwritten book of the Book of Niggas. Mm-hmm. The overall concept is that whoever was the oldest to survive on the ship became the new griot. He was obligated to tell the story. And he would tell you that I know for sure that I'm not old enough to be a good storyteller if I was home. Right. But I'm the oldest to survive this, and nobody want to tell this story. But I got to. What up? What up? Yeah, man, appreciate you. But we're on this is Thursday, 10 times now with Coach John, Mr. Witts. And we finna talk about this Mother's Day thing, and we're talking about history, we're talking about some everything, but we're getting to Mother's Day. But up to zero, can you add me in the conversation? I'd like to voice my opinion. But give me a second. See, we're on Restream. We're on StreamYard. And and we do this every Thursday. We have a conversation. We can definitely add you to the conversation, but we're going to have to.
You're going to celebrate Mother's Day. We'll do some Mother's Day poem and talk about mothers and all that good stuff. Yeah. Y'all get ready. My bad, AJ. We was both talking at the same time, man. My bad.
No. I was telling him he wanted to add something to the conversation, but I was saying this is not that. I'm saying we can add you to the platform so you can be involved in the conversation from the beginning next Thursday. But we have to, you know, we'll send you a link and you join this link, and then you'll be in the conversation. But we'll talk about that. But today we're talking about Mother's Day. We're talking about history, and we're talking about our community and how do we become better stewards of the gifts that we have, and what is it that your mother, or what is it that your grandmother, or what is it that your aunt, or that whoever you received the love you received from did for you. Yeah. You know, because I was doing a workshop in the school, and I'd asked a specific question about, okay, so what did your mother do? Or what is it? And this little girl told me, she said, well, I don't, you know, that my mother was strung out on crack. And my mother gave me up. So my grandmother was raising me. And then she said she couldn't do it. So she gave me to my aunt. So now I'm just here. I get dropped off at school every day. And my mother, she said her aunt dropped off at school one day and didn't come back and pick her up. So the teacher I was doing a writing workshop for, the white lady, was keeping the girl, and she had filed for, she was trying to be her legal guardian. Wow. And I'm saying, so when you see how stories intrinsically involve, what's up, LaKanya? What up? So stories intrinsically involve these things that we just heard about somewhere else. Mm-hmm. We're part of it. How do we add that to this workshop? How am I going to have you write something that matters to you when you've been through so much shit already? Right. And you're just in the 8th grade. You know,
AJ, I went to first time I went to North Carolina, we moved to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I was in the 7th grade. I went the whole 7th grade, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. That's where I went to school at. Beverly Middle School was the name of it. And things didn't work out right. We moved right back to New York as soon as school let out, back in New York City. I went to IS 292 in Brooklyn. IS 292 was 7th and 8th grade only. 9th grade, you went to high school. So I'm in the 9th grade. I'm in the 8th grade. And we didn't have a lot. So, I've been a performer all my life. So I just make jokes, do whatever I'm going to do in front of the class, keep people off and talk about my shoes. You know, whatever it's going to be. If I wasn't fighting, I was making somebody laugh. That's what it was, right? Mm-hmm. School started in September. My birthday is Halloween. Before my birthday, they came and brought me in the office and said, look here, man, we don't care what you do. We're going to pass you because we don't want you in this school no more. And I remember that. I never forgot that because I didn't like schoolwork. Schoolwork was boring. I got it done too fast. They didn't give me nothing that challenged me. So schoolwork, I can breathe through that. But I always did very well with my tests. My test scores was good. My test scores wasn't good. My mother had to ask me. She had that conversation with me. What's wrong? Because she knew something wasn't right. But I'm saying that to say, I watched how they allow children to just be. What in your right mind allows you to tell a kid, well, you don't even have to pass, or you don't even have to come. We don't want you here next year.
Man. And you know, mine was I'm from Dallas. We lived in Oak Cliff. So I went to Roger Camille's elementary school, and I remember when they gave us the IQ test, right? And they kept putting me in the office, and I didn't know why, you know, and it was like, yeah, this. And then they told me that they had this new program that they were starting at Oliver Wendell Holmes for 7th graders. So what they did is the school was always there.
Mm-hmm.
They renovated the whole 2nd floor.
Okay.
And what they did with the 2nd floor, they put carpet in all the rooms, air conditioners in the windows. And so we didn't have to leave the 2nd floor for anything, but they had students invited that had IQs over 125. So they had all this, we were an actual experiment.
Wow.
I only realize this now, but it was a good thing. They said, oh, they want you to come to school. They offer you this, and you go there, and we went there, and I still made straight A's. Wow. But it was all these smart kids they put us in a different environment. It was like, okay, how can you function at a better environment that you came from? Because we want to make this one story, this whole 2nd story of the school, and they open the walls to the room. They just put those dividers in there. So you have social studies, English, math, science, all this on the 2nd floor.
Wow.
And people saying, what's going on the 2nd floor? They didn't let other people up there. But to me, it bothers me now to know that I was part of an experiment. And they wanted to see how my intellect would it rise, or would I be stagnated, or what, if I had a better environment in school.
Wow.
Not that they wanted to create better schools.
Right.
And in the 8th grade we moved, and I went to the school that had 7th and 8th grade, Kennedy Carey Middle School, over by Wilma Hutchins. So went to that school, and I was president. I was the prom king. I was, it was just whatever, you know. And I was you. I was in there. I was making jokes. I've been in the office all the time, and I've been in the office, and they say, well, Mr. Houston, we need you to do your work. I'm like, my work is done. I did my work in the 4th period for all my classes, so all my work for tomorrow is already done too.
Right.
So they say, well, you got a test. I said, oh, I finished that test in 5 minutes. I knew all the answers. and they say, well, what is it? Can we get you to do? And it was like they started trying to find other things, because everything that they were used to telling students were not applicable. Because my mother taught me, when my mother taught me to read and taught me how to hold a pen and how to write cursive and do mathematics and read newspapers when I was 3, and I'm doing this shit in 3 and 4 years old. So school wasn't intriguing. I'm saying you teaching kids the alphabets, and I'm already writing cursive.
Right. It is a very slow pace in school, to be honest with you. And it's worse now.
Oh yeah, they don't even teach cursive no more.
When my daughter came on middle school and was saying that they didn't teach them in cursive, I was like, that's crazy how they're not teaching kids how to write in cursive. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I do love about being able to be home with my youngest all the time, as much as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get to enjoy her enjoying poetry. Like, she really enjoys. You saw it when I did on the live yesterday. She enjoys poetry. And for me, I mean, I don't know if I could ask for a better gift, because she doesn't have to be a poet, but the fact that she's enjoying it says a lot.
But John,
there go Wits with his phone.
When I got injured, I got injured on the job, right? Had my back after my first back surgery. Then I had 4 more back surgeries. But I was home with my son, so I'm taking my younger 3 sons with me. I'm featuring all over Dallas. I'm featuring all these places. I'm performing. Mm-hmm. We're in clubs, we're in bars where they say kids aren't allowed. And I'm like, okay, so this ain't bar night. These are my kids.
Right.
This is what I'm ordering for them to eat. They're going to sit here and they're going to mind their own. They ain't going to leave these seats unless they ask me. I know because they're mine. And people come to me and say, oh, your boys are so mannerable. I'm like, you act like there's an option.
Come on, AJ.
like they got choice, like they can raise their hands and not be. But I'm saying the point is my sons have always went with me when they were small to all these poetry venues, met all these poets. They met Shane Kozan, they met Sekou the Misfit, they met Talam AC, they met Lamar Hill, they met Tonga, they met all these poets that people know, and I think they seen Ed Mabry a bunch of times. They've seen all these poets, but the thing is I didn't know, but they were writing poems. I did a workshop at my son's school when he was a senior, and his friends would tell me, he said, "Yeah, we always get Alex to write poems for us, for our girlfriends." And I'm like, Alex ain't tell me he write no poetry. And then they say, "Alex, we gonna get your daddy to write our poems from now on." I'm like, Alex ain't told me he writing no poetry, and Dominic writing poetry to his girlfriend. I'm quite sure Jay was writing poetry. So all three of them that I took with me all these places knew how to write what it was they want to write. But a lot of times you don't want to tell who you learn from that you're learning.
Yeah.
Or who you got it from that you got it. It's like, no, I want to hone this craft myself. Let me make it. Let me make this be me. And then I'll show him how good I can be. And I don't know if that's the case, but it was amazing to know that they were writing poetry and I didn't know they were writing.
Wow. AJ, I'm just about right before the pandemic, I'm just recently really getting back in touch with my sons. And my oldest son was born on September 1st, 1990. My other son was born February 18th, 1992. And so my oldest son, my youngest son is a rapper, and so I asked my oldest son. I said, "What's good? You get on the mic too?" He's like, "Nah, that part didn't rub off on me. I'm still a street nigga like you used to be." And it was funny. I laughed. I hate that he got that part of me, but that's what I was.
But remember, it took you a minute.
It took me a minute.
But I'm saying, and my thing is like my sons, they aren't really talking to me right now, and I understand, but I don't know how memories work. And the reason I say I don't know how memories work, because if you remember anything, you remember that I was there till you graduated. I was at every PTA, every class, every game, every open house, every student teacher meeting. It was me. But now we don't talk because I had to go. And I understand that's why we were talking about mothers and how fathers, how you don't know why your father isn't there, because you don't usually have grown folk conversation with kids.
Right. But when they get grown, they're not prepared for the impact of the conversation, because it's like a lot, even in movies. In movies, you see that it say, "Ooh, I walked in on my parents and they were having sex. Ooh, I can't unsee this." And it's like, we don't see our parents that way. Right.
As people. And a lot of times we don't see our parents as people. So yeah, man. So what kind of poems you got, man, for your mother? We're gonna just be Mother's Day from now.
I haven't even done a lot of Mother's Day poems. Which, what you gonna say? I hear you tweaking in over there.
Yeah, AJ, those last comments hit home for me, because I'm there now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in that situation now where I'm like, I'm being strong for my children. You feel me?
Yeah.
You bring them out here, so you have to protect them. So by all means, I will sacrifice myself for them. So I'm kind of in that situation in my relationship. You feel me? To where you can see it's a matter of time.
Oh yeah, and you really have to, as fathers, we have to find more patience than we've ever had, because you can demand somebody to listen, but they can't hear you.
All day long, they won't hear you.
Yeah, and then it's like you said, back to what my brother said, like, we came up in a household where our dad wasn't dead, so we didn't get that equal yoke. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want that for my boys.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want there to be a misunderstanding that they can't come to me with anything. So like right now, my boys is young. You know what I'm saying? The oldest will be 10. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's really trying.
Yeah.
You know, to be that balance that they need. Um, and keep my spirit whole at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, my father was a functioning alcoholic, you know, and that's why I bring it up. And I didn't really see it that way before until I started remembering that he retired from, you know, ITNT Grinnell after 22 years. He retired after the gas company after 20 years, and every Friday he'd come home drunk. Police brought him home a whole bunch of Friday nights drunk. I had to go get the car, and I'm 12 years old, you know, because my other brother was gone. But I'm saying, but my father was. I said they were staples in the community. Everybody in the community knew them. So it wasn't like they were just random black men. He was there. He knew everybody in the community, everybody's son. He said, "Ain't you so-and-so son? Go tell your daddy that we're gonna do this." My father and my uncle would take kids to Dallas Cowboy games in the back of a truck at the Cotton Bowl. He just tell them, he said, "Go tell your daddy you are Arthur and Jimmy J, and we're finna go to the game." And they hop on the back of the truck. We go to the game and sit, you know, eat hot dogs and Cokes, and stomachs be full, stomach ache because we ate too many hot dogs. but it was, I'm saying, I don't know. And then I guess the one thing I remember the most is that they would get an ice cream man $100 bill, telling that every child in this community, when you pass them, they better have an ice cream. If you pass somebody up, you're not invited back here. So, and I was thinking the other day is how many kids thought the ice cream man was the dopest man ever. It's ice cream man. It's fire. Every time I see him, he give me ice cream.
Yeah.
He's not getting you ice cream. Somebody, see, we don't know what paying it forward look like because nobody ever taught us about paying it forward. Nobody ever taught us what it looked like when the person is not holding $1 over your head. Look, I paid for you to do this. What's up's the fun? You know, and it's always a shame that we are the last to know how great we are. We are the last for anybody to tell us about our people, what our people did, or how we got this, or who created this, and you know, because Black history taught us so many things that we didn't know. Like they made who, you know. I know. I got this poem that says, you know, they were what is I'm trying to think who did the pin up. Oh, they were cardio peanuts, but Jiffy and Petty Pan your peanut butter. So they'll give credit to a person for something, but not who made these trillions of dollars off this peanut butter that he created.
Yeah. Wow. I've learned to you know, damn the long spoon, the long handle spoon. I just, you know, I just stay away from people, man. I'm trying to find his Mother's Day poem in this book. I'm still looking in What If There's No Titles, man. You know, I'm glad the book got 415 pages. but I'm not happy about it right now. You know. I got so I have a 2 short Mother's Day poems that I've written. I'm going to wait to read this other one because I wrote a poem for my mother that. So let me say this first. Let me back up. What I see in my mother is beyond what I can actually, you know, reiterate from my mouth, right? What she's gone through, what she's done, who she is, the way she manifests things, the way she is. I don't even understand how that woman could be who she is, right? And I started writing this poem. That's why she was on the cover of my first book. That's why she had to be there. And I just started writing, instead of saying, okay, my mother is this, my mother is that. I told her what I saw other women striving to be was what she already was. And what she has taught and given, other women are striving in their own way to reach some things that she has already reached, and they don't even see it, but I see it. And what I'm saying is, when I see strong, I only see strong Black women because that's all I live around all my life. So If you're not blacking him, I'm not talking down against you. I'm just telling you what I see, what I've lived with. And I've watched the strength in women. And then when I see where women are weak at, I'm wondering, well, I wonder if my mother was in that position, would she be like you, or would she be stronger than what she is? Because she didn't get there where you're at, that you're having all these complaints. And she may do with way less than what you already have. And your world is just falling upside down. You know what I mean? And there's so much in that particular poem that I've seen other women walk in my mother's footsteps and not knowing that. And it's because I saw her greatness when I was able to really see what greatness was. And so I'm not going to read that poem. I'm going to read that one later. But I got a few little sweet Mother's Day poems that I read. But that poem, if you have my first book, it's called What God Looks Like. And that's why I named it that. Because I'll be damned, I don't know what else it could have been to watch my mother make it through them streets the way she did with her children by herself and do the things that she was able to do and teach her. I mean, you're looking at Wits and I, right? I went to college a little bit. I don't have no degree or nothing like that. We went to school, but our school was in our home. Half the shit I'm regurgitating now and the stuff that I was learning when I was young. And it was so much, they just put in the amen corner when I went to school because my mother already told me about it. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much in that. And yeah, man, I don't know if Wits got some Mother's Day poems, but I'll do one short one that I got so we can get it rolling.
Okay, and check it out. Before you start, I got in making it, the other book you have. I have a poem. I have a thing called My Mother and Professor.
Oh wow!
And it was because this book, Making It, to me was me saying that, you know, I was hanging out with all these rappers, but I saw them having these videos with all these high priced cars and all these things that they didn't own, these houses they didn't own, they were just renting for a day, shoot the video. And I was like, so they're giving what they want Making It to look like for them. To me, Making It is me discovering all these people that believed in me before I believed in me.
Yeah.
So that's what the poem is all these people that knew that told me I was going to be something before I knew what something to be was. So in that, I have that My Mother and Professor in that one. But in here, I got one, man. I'm trying to find. So yeah, you start, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'll start with this one. And I had made, what I did was I made, before the pandemic and the Mother's Day before, I used to get a lot of, poems laser cut on wood. And I gave these poems away to some people that meant enough to me that I gave it to them for Mother's Day. And so this one says, and so it's Mother's Day, the very day no man can lay claim to. Today is all about the woman, she who brought forth life at the expense of her own. This day is for you. It's for the nurturer. Today is for the perfectness you've placed in our lives like the moon in the darkening sky. So we thank you. Thank you for the long talks after the work day has commanded so much. For the hot meals and the home front you've made us out of struggle. On this day, we honor you. On this day, we pay tribute to the regalness of your spirit. We serenade a melody that grants you the highest title, Mother. And on this day, as sure as spring promises new life, we honor you, just as the dawn promises to give way to a new morning. We honor you on this day. And that was for a Mother's Day poem I had written for somebody.
Because in this one, I found one poem. Let me see. Oh, I found it.
You found it. Good, good.
This is the one. Let me write it. Let me write it in table of contents so I remember where.
Yeah, black woman. What you going, bro? You over there? You good? He must be away from the thing right quick.
Okay, and I think
my bad. I'm making shirts.
You good, bro? I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, everything is good. I'll do a poem in a minute. I'm listening.
Okay, this is the one I was telling you that they asked me to write.
Okay.
So when I went in to do the poem, what's up, DJ Smooth? What up, man? Good to see you. I'm on 10 times now with my homeboy, Coach John, Mr. Witz, man. We on that Instagram Live, Instagram and YouTube. Go to Coach John Small's YouTube, man. You should definitely be a part of some of these things, man. You're such a dope brother too, man. Appreciate you. This is a Mother's Day poem. In the beginning was the word. I believe that's why my mother read to me books written by Dr. Seuss. He created everything from thought. I wasn't aware of it then, but the mind holds all things at the ready. You can't get ready if you're not already in motion, moving towards better, searching for the more in you. She told me to read Peter, studied to show thyself, taught me of Ezekiel, David, and Solomon, of trials by Jacob and Job, presented examples of withstanding and withstood, told me how feet, purpose, and passage should become the best of friends. How gone ain't gone, it's just not there sometimes. You don't need to recall lessons until the test arrives. You should pray some tests never come. I grew a great adoration for the power of words. Not that words matter. Truth is they do. But sound be a completely different story. I would tell my story, explain how I got this throat full of positive when negatives show up. How these hands learn to praise dance when writing scriptures, how these feet are laced tightly with motivation for shoes when all that exists is dissension, anger, and doubt. I can tell how doubt is worse than fear, how fear comes from not knowing, from not believing you were equipped, how this mind holds all things at the ready. But there are chapters still in writing, in progress. I've learned progress sometimes has a hole in the bottom, doesn't come with instructions, can resemble a dust storm in the desert, a house with no walls, how sometimes progress can go in reverse when you're not watching, how reverse can be forward, and sometimes moving fast can get you lost. I remember green eggs and ham and Jesus on the Mount, how sometimes a little fish and bread can feed a village or a nation when written in the proper context, how these words sometimes taste of fish and bread. I know how pain looks close up, how to help others when you can't help yourself. There are hidden blessings in words you can discover hiding in your heart when you dig deep enough, when you know the grit stole more than a fantasy. You may have to run on water every now and then. When the street ends, when the highway collapses, it's left up to you to build a way to keep going. When friends pencil you out, when they say you done lost your mind, when they get mad at you for what you're going through. My mother taught me that staying will often be much harder than leaving, and that leaving gives way to giving up or in. Ain't no tangible difference. It ain't a battle for real when you know the battle is real. When you understand words been here before you, that withstood and are still standing. My mother read to me so I could learn to read, taught me sound so I could speak to nations. Neither she or I knew that Dr. Seuss and Jesus, Enoch and Akbar, Langston and Angelou, Moses and Dr. Ben, Isaiah and my pen could all taste like fish and bread sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, AJ. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm just gonna go on and do another one. Shit. Let me take a sip of this damn tea. Listen, if you're on IG, if you're on YouTube, go and find a mother that you know, get her in here. She needs to be celebrated. We're celebrating the mothers. We're gonna throw down. We're probably gonna end up writing some shit while we on here. What you gotta say, Witz? I hear you chiming in.
I'm gonna do my poem.
Okay, go ahead. I'm good. I'm waiting on you.
No, I was waiting. I hear you talking to the people in the dressing room. Go ahead and give them that information. We don't want them to be confused.
It's on you now.
I got you, but definitely fire pieces, man.
Yeah, man.
You know that. This is my dedication to my mom. She died for me. I mean, she bled, sweat, and cried till she bust blood vessels in the sides of her eyes for me. Cracked skies and sea, I can still hear her scream. I remind myself each morning, reassuring purpose and meaning. She died for me. Felt my soul was worth it. And it will be a blessing who will walk this surface. That's how her heart speaks in whispers of her spirit. She is God-given, giving God her coherence. She died for me, as if in me lied her promise. Her sacrifice in me be ancestral homage. She said it was easy. but then the road was rough, which is never second guessed when it's done out of love. She died for me. How amazing is that? How do you pay back a gift like that? No jewel can shine bright enough. How does one reimburse? I want to charm her neck with galaxies and throne her the universe. She died for me, made it possible for me. Only heartbeats heard can in words such beauty. Though this page from my life book peeks in on my chapter, she died twice before me and 5 times after. She journeys boundlessly with selfless ending, like her mom did for her and her siblings. That's why she is my world, and I call her Earth. My life after death equivalent. In third birth, she died for me.
Yeah, that's always one of my favorite poems.
In third birth, is that you, the third child? What is that?
Yeah, I'm the third oldest out of the 8.
Okay, I'm saying I heard. I was just double checking, making sure I was listening correct.
Yeah, I know your ears catch it, man. Ain't too
Exactly.
much to get past you.
Ain't nothing get past AJ.
No, man, I like that, man. I like that, and I like the inference that giving birth is like leaving and coming back.
Yeah.
It's like so, and we can't explain it because we don't know. We don't know how it works. I just know I went to the hospital 2 and came back 3. And that shit was amazing because I was always feeling like I forgot something. I'm looking around, okay, I had a bag, got the bottles, got this, got that, I have, and then be walking with all this stuff and say, oh, what a baby.
Yeah, man. Everything comes with knowledge, right? And research. But when I found out that they said the equivalency of death, of a woman giving birth is the equivalent to the pain that one goes through when they leaving. And it's like, wow. So that's the reference came from. So yeah, you again with your ears and shit.
Yeah.
Now, who was that? John said we in here a whole lot of mothers.
Miss Betty.
We in here a whole lot of mothers. Come on with it, loving this, man. That's awesome. So come on, John, you finna do it.
Okay. In the beginning, there was a light. Much like a whisper, it flickered from its state of triple darkness. Its origin was of muddy water and an egg, with God's hand paving the way for its existence, and it was his fingerprints that shaped the contour of this journey. It's by his will we are here. Therefore, man does not live on bread alone, nor does he come from a rib. His entrance unto this world is via a birth canal of a woman. That means, in fact, a woman is the image of the Creator, a replica in her own way with a swag to her that says, not only am I here, but I am poetry. I am rhyme schemes. I am metaphors and free verse. She says, I am CEO, guardian, headliner, and head of state. So watch what you call me. Be careful of the ways you handle me, because my handle with care sign comes with a caution letter. And I better not catch you slipping. Woman says, I am Oshun. I am the measure of a life clock, bigger than Africans held like livestock and louder than a New York City street that created 1 2 1 2 1 2, and you don't stop. Mama says, dear son, I saw you perfect on your birthday. Says your life is worth me giving mine, so take all of me that you need. I will house you with all of my holiness. Woman says, I deny myself for you, child. Even when I am empty, my reserve belongs to you. Woman says, I love you more than a hashtag. And I found woman sounds a lot like a last prayer, like the morning prayer, like amen, and sounding off trumpets blowing, calling us home before dinner, moments before the street lights come to life. Mother says, woman sounds perfect. but mother sounds absolute. And that is why I always see my mother absolutely perfect.
For sure, I like that, man. I like that. The woman sounds perfect. The mother is absolute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could use a shot right now myself. Anyway, but okay, this is out of Still Black. Now and Then. For my mother. On September the 15th, 1955, the picture on the cover of Jet magazine should have changed the world. Back then, we were still asking America to give us what she promised, or a little sympathy, a little empathy, some of that compassion. She keeps bottled up until pain gets too heavy to bear. I would never ask my mother what she thought of now. Every week, same story. Every day, same story. Every year, same story. We can divide the weeks and days by her age and see how many stories she's had to bear. I did not think of it this way in the beginning. By now, she would have had a house filled with T-shirts, with the faces of Black babies, Black people, unarmed, unaware of when their last day of breath would be. How many street corners, corner stores, drive-through fast foods, alleys, how many stories can we tell in our communities of unsolicited confrontations with protect and serve? I'm guessing there are Klansmen wearing police blue in graveyards, digging up old leaders, praying they find a note, a letter, not completely decayed, a message in a bottle. America must create new excuses for these closed-eye sessions. Once upon a time, there was this place called Land of the Free, where huddled masses would go. There are still stories of books of their trouble getting here, arriving with $2.15 just to close in their backs, hanging luggage. A ship's cargo does not matter how. The plan was to get here. Once ashore, there were chances, golden opportunities. They were given land, animals, and feed. You know, the Humanity Starter Kit. They came, these people. Then came these people. Let us call it came. Not took or stolen. We're not actually willing participants. We're not given boarding passes. We're not allowed carrying bags, suitcases, or drums. We're not told how long, to where, for what. Did not know the captain's name or origin. Did not know the name, if it was the Jesus or the Clotilda. Did not know what race they were, what race borrowed them from the soil they had grown accustomed to. I did not think of groups of people were broken into races at this juncture in history. Upon arrival, let's call it parted from our kinsmen, not beaten, not separated, not sold. Let's call it bartered for cash. Let's just say we were all strippers on stages, butt naked for public viewing. Then came this now. Don't think they were ready for this new way of communicating, of taking moving pictures. Got too used to one story, one truth, turning off body cameras so lies fit well in the scriptures written by blue angels on police reports. I would never ask my mother what she thought of now. Most Americans still struggle to get over then. Get over America assassinating King and Malcolm. There are no more gospel songs to give happy feet to us downtrodden mourners. No more tears of Abel for release. It's not that we don't cry no more. We're empty. Dry eyes will not let us not see. We cannot afford to sleep. America never sleeps. Keep planning how to get rid of us. Yeah, us. Niggas, immigrants, Mexicans who belong here, other dark-skinned, brown-skinned, tan-skinned people who belong here. There are plans to hush us, separate us from the almost free we've yet to see, plans to get rid of our ability to vote, freedom of choice, freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, freedom to protest. It no longer seems as if these freedoms are still free. Maybe like Mamie Till asked Mr. Rayner for a hammer, we should ask America for the same. Give us a hammer to open this crate of privilege. We need to reveal the ugly you've spent years trying to make pretty. It's past time we divulge this racism. This has been on lockdown. Show the world America's most horrid secret, the systematic approach of regression. Congress keeps a schedule on how to hide free from a people in distress. For more than 400 years, or maybe we can go backyard barbecuing with 45, 99 years after Klansmen bombed Black Wall Street in Tulsa, have a beer, toast some moonshine on this White Hood rally on Juneteenth, share some ribs 255 years after General Granger showed up late with some free on his lips, remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. Know this for sure, they will not be supported in idleness either here or elsewhere. We do not get whole messages anymore. Don't quite know how to listen when they come. I'm not for sure if those who prefer profess to be woke believe their community, their nation needs them to vote. Whenever election shows up unnoticed, you must be mentally deficient if you forget to register. My mother taught me to vote at first chance. We should never inquire to doctors why her movement has slowed, why her back hurts, why she stops and cries every now and then. They will say it's osteo whatever or scolio something. They will not tell you Black women carry the weight on their shoulders, the pain of generations, the struggle of a continent. Their backs are weighed down from too many tombstones, too many babies, boys, men, women gone too soon. I do not mean to be long-winded. It's been long since we've had a moment to breathe without a boot, knee, or hands around our necks. This is the breath we've been needing, the air they had promised us years ago. I would never ask my mother what she thought of now. I can still see then in the arthritis in her fingers, the clutching memories she would not speak of, the swelling of her ankles, the pain in her knees. She would say, I'm kicking, but not high. Each of these ins and outs is grace from God that will never give us more than we can bear. She would say, this now is then, this then is now. And from where she sits, ain't no difference at all.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, wow. There'd be so much depth to listening to y'all too, man. I'd just be like, man, oh man, oh man.
No, man, but what's up? What's up? Queen Sissy and Gemini. Now this is 10 times now. I'm on here with Coach John, Mr. Witts. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, Coach John Smalls YouTube, and I'm here Instagram Live, so y'all can hear what we're talking about. But every Thursday we had this conversation. We can invite you in at a scheduled time to be a part of 10 times now, but we can't bring you in as if now is a part of what you want to discuss, because we have a plan to discuss Mother's Day things. So that's what we're talking about, waiting for Mr. Witts to come through with his Mother's Day poem.
Okay, I got something for you.
I know.
This is a little different.
It always is.
This is a mother talking to her son.
Okay.
I pray your legs never tire, that you walk 10 earths in distance. I pray you travel the length of your life full of breath, that God provides you wind, wisdom to make it on your own. Don't end up pruning a popular tree. I pray when you need to be, you are everything that you need. Now run. They say that running is good exercise. I pray you never know what it feels like to have to run for your life. Worry if you sticking out in front makes somebody want to own you, want to recognize you from somewhere, want to make nice with you with the likes of a runner. They laugh and point at worn down sneakers till they get the backstory behind the travel. The Underground Railroad encrypted message that what makes a runner make them want to run with you. In a canine race to catch cottontail, you know they think every nigga should have their bill, their share of you can do my work for me. It's funny how money can determine your stand. No matter how you pair them, the pace just different. But how do I run? What's the point even if I'm not to put forth all of me in it? To be no less a neck ahead in presence, a neck stuck out, a man that can draw a crowd and exercise a mind, whether I'm leading the pack or lagging behind. They're going to chase, lest my leg fall asleep, lest my toe go numb and mindless of their near. Lest a Charlie horse finds his cramp in my thigh. Only way they ever string a line long enough to reach me. A power line stretched to where they'd hang my sneakers, where such men would have my hands begin to shake from my neck, clapping at my waist. to on viewing slaves, I am finally escaped, bonded no longer by the tie, soulless eyes captured within a daydream of freedom, woke up in the casket to the sounds of her song.
Wow.
My son, I pray your legs never tire, that you walk 10 earths in distance. I pray you travel the length of your life full of breath, that God provide you wind, wisdom. I pray you don't end up stem from a branch, pruning a popular tree. I pray when you need to be, you are everything that you need. Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, Wits. Yes, brethren.
Woke up in the casket, run.
Right. There is such depth to those metaphors, man.
Mm-hmm.
God Almighty.
Walk 10 earths.
10
earths in distance.
Wow. So if you tune in on IG, we celebrate Mother's Day. If you're a mother, if you're an auntie, you're a grandmother, if you know someone who's a mother, auntie, grandmother, have them come on in and just listen. I will repost it later so you can go back and listen to the magic that's happening here. But we celebrate mothers. We honor mothers. This is what it's about right here.
I had to step back for a minute because that piece made me emotional. But that just it goes all the way back to running for our freedom. The mothers was the first ones. That's why you have Harriet Tubmans. You feel me?
Yeah.
Our mothers was the first one that was trying to like, baby, you got to get away from here. I can't go with you.
Yeah.
I'll put myself in the way, but you got to go. You got to run. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That one.
Definitely, man. Because I think Josh said it, like, oh, he just a little stupid little boy. He ain't nothing. He just, because she was trying to deflect them from looking, oh, that might be the next good field worker. That might be the next. I don't know. He's just stupid. He don't know nothing.
Exactly.
They used to do that all the time. That slave master come over talking about that's a fine young man. He's strong, kind of witty. Oh no, he's just a stupid. He's just a dumb old boy. Saving her life. Look at what a mother had to do to save. First of all, she knew what he meant when he said that, right?
Right.
Man, so what you got, John? I got something I ain't never read, man.
I got something I ain't never read too. AJ, read something new.
I ain't never read out loud. I mean, reread it since it's been in the book.
Wow. Which is Umi around? Where's she at? She listening in? She probably
she's back and forth.
Got you. It's all good. I'll send it to her to look at it later. But this one she would have like. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, lest it be American. Carry a name like Tom, Sam, Uncle. See, there are guidelines to growing up Black and Muslim in America. The land of free, unless your name carries melanin, unless your name sings the Arabiya, Ya Allah. I remember your promise in Hadina Sirot al-Mustaqim, the straight and narrow path that they call anti-American, anti-Semitic. That's what they say, the ways my mother taught me. It's pathetic to know they'd rather see me in a hoodie than a kufi, more thug than submissive, unless it means bondage or chain gangs. I watch how they levy us to by faith, corral us into titles and heightened newsletters, news feeds, never giving us real stories, just real to real stories. See, they want more Biggie than Rakim, more rap than hip hop, more Black Street Boys, them Four Tops, cause ain't no savior like the one I got. One my mother taught me about. You see, my mother taught me about being a black boy and Muslim in this America. How it feels like searching an absentee ballot for a hero signature. Forgetting that your Superman is a black woman who gave birth to 8 babies, which reminds me of the rib. How did she come from me without me first coming from her womb? The womb of a black Muslim woman born in this America. Have you ever heard a black woman's prayer? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Her tears filling the gaps that hold universal together. Allah being her creator, Muhammad the messenger, and now my mother in MGT raising her soldiers to be FOI. And no lie, being a black woman, or being a black boy in America can't be less costly than being a black mother raising such. Yeah, I never read that one. That was the first time I ever read that one.
Oh man, that's fire, man. That is.
Yeah, that was it right there, little boy. That was sick. That was sick.
Because I tell you, mine, I've never read this out of Making It, Life, Love, Portrait, and everything else.
Yeah.
It's called My Mother and the Professor. It says, I sometimes wonder if all children think of doctors and professors as one and the same. If they happen to know what a doctor or professor is, growing up in the church, some terminology you just pick up. Most of the pastors, preachers, and prophets, whichever you prefer, had the acronym either in front or at the end of their name. To me, it just sounded cool. It sounded exactly like the beginning of the guy's name that gave me all those shots. Maybe the occurrences in what made the connection disturbing, not in a bad way, but believing the doctor in the pulpit, the professor referenced in books, and the doctor that fixed me when I was sick was somehow related in a professional way. My mom and I, in my early years, spent most mornings for hours at a time attempting to engage in stories written by a doctor. I never asked her, but I knew instantly he worked in all 3 capacities. The stories were always engaging. My favorite, hands down, was Green Eggs and Ham. I knew this book backwards and forwards. I could turn any page and recite the exact words on that page, causing her to believe I could actually read. Needless to say, she discovered after a few days spent in great appreciation of my sudden accomplishments, I could only memorize quickly. I know now reading with a book turned upside down must have given it away. I can still recall the look on her face. It wasn't quite disappointment. I must conclude it was amazement in a good, bad or sort of way. The discovery of me not being able to read was the low point, but completely understanding I am an excellent listener with the highest level reached. When I knew what the goal was, it didn't take but a minute longer before I was fascinated by words, challenging myself to properly articulate the long ones and break down them into meaningful terms. My mother would purchase word power books for me instead of toys. That was always my choice of things to play with. As an adult, I thank my mom for her due diligence in making sure I could read long before kindergarten or first grade. I can remember my first days in first grade. It was amazing. I thought being put in front of the class to read to them was a normal occurrence. I never met stage fright. I guess he didn't know where we lived. I believe in Dr. Seuss. I would go as far as labeling him one of the greatest writers of all time. No one or entity will ever comprise the data showing how many people spanning how many continents learned to read first by having read to them books written by Dr. Seuss. Most writers descriptively express the metaphoric visions of things seen or recant items and stories writers have told for years. Expressing it with a twist or adding a different ending or characters doesn't make it a new story. My favorite doctor created all things he placed in my mind's eye from his imagination, as though creating all characters out of thin air. my mother's vision of me learning to read, that way is direct correlation to my imaginative abilities. I thank her and will always believe we input positive things we know are necessary for growth in our children. It will in turn blossom and grow as they discover their abilities. I'm still in adventure, still learning the power of transforming thought to verse, the wonderment of stories not yet written down. There are so many things I'm in process of mastering when it comes to words. My mother taught me to pass it on to my seeds, and they would be much better at it than I could ever be. So, to my mother and the great doctor, I pay homage for my ability to write everything. Thank you for love and patience. I know working with me, you need lots of it.
Yeah. I think we can all use that line.
Right.
We can all use that line for sure.
No, man, but that was it, man. So when they deauthorized the Dr. Seuss entity to publish those 7 books, it wasn't, I wasn't shocked, because we should know, just like you were saying about what they said about Biden, we should know that every white man over 60 got some good old boy stuck in him somewhere.
Yeah.
Got some good old boy relatives, got some things he heard that kind of stuck in his craw early. He may have changed his mind now because he know differently. But we all learn the same way. We learn that these are second class people, and we've all been second class. Why do you think we still say Black Lives Matter and they say all lives matter?
Yeah. Think about that.
But no, man, I think my mother for so much, and that to me is like the perfect thing, because she read all these books to me, and I memorized I memorized the books just from I would look at the pages and I remembered what was on that page. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was exciting to know that I only recited the words that was on that page. So she started thinking I could read because I knew what was on the next page.
Right. AJ, how old were you then?
I was about 3 or 4. And I was holding the book upside down, and she was looking like, oh, this nigga ain't reading. This nigga. But what she did is she made me, I sit down and had to write for 2 hours a day and do math for 2 hours a day. And then I was just I learned my timetables. I learned how to read, how to write cursive, how to do all this. So when I was going to elementary school, it was like, what are we teaching today? Oh, alphabets.
My mother tells this story. She said when I was 1, she said, because she used to read to me all the time. She has to run my finger across the page like I was reading. And she said, man, she thought I really could read because I would move my finger across the page because that's what she did. And I had to learn that I have a lot of my mother mannerisms and a lot of other ways of doing things I do. And then my birthday is 10 days before hers, which is a whole nother story.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm saying, man, I'm so appreciative to my mother, man, because I tell her all the time, I'm like, I only write because you taught me how.
Yeah.
I say I just keep publishing because I think I need a library with my name on it, not a building. All the books on the shelf.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, because I think they ought to say, well, do you have any books by A.J. Houston? Oh, that section over there is all A.J. Houston's books. That's the way I see it.
People will be traveling just for that, bro.
No, man.
If I have anything to do with it, we're gonna make it happen.
No, man, but I'm so proud of both of y'all, man. I'm saying it's such an honor, man. I'm saying you have no earthly idea that I could not envision this if I had planned. I couldn't make it be the way it is if I planned it, because I'm saying every morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, I gotta write some shit. I don't know what I gotta write, but I gotta write for Wits coming. Before I talk to John, I gotta have some emotion because they finna call. They finna call and disrupt the flow of my pen for sure.
I know for sure. Y'all get me like that all the damn time. I don't know about all that other stuff, but I know y'all get me. I'll be like, damn, here they go. Here they go. But it's all good. It's all good. I love it. I love it.
Because I started this Mother's Day poem, man.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on the Mother's Day poem.
Yeah. Good. I got some.
I want to give you a little bit of it, even though.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little bit
it's
of
your
it.
go, ain't it?
I'm ready.
All right. Which is your go?
All right, cool. I'm still working it, so it's got a ways to go. But I don't know how it began for most, but for me, it started with an animation of her words. A tone tickled in a newborn's ear. Mother's melody sounding me to sleep. A lullaby from her is like whispers from a universe I'm sure you'd find the world's first superheroes. Only a place where marvels nap can a mother originate. Only real mothers that become grandmothers, that find their way to them great grandchildren, can lay claim to hero, can even find their heroism inside themselves to be what is needed of them in this world. I can't pinpoint the exact moment I recognized it, but it's always dwelled there within her hands. The gravity the gravity that once carried me daily for months on out. Always had the right strength when she carried our struggle, always seemed to have sight of where and where not to be. Mothers are heroes, superheroes, come from a planet in effort to save of this world. That's all I got right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah. You gonna have that ready for Sunday, I'm sure. Cause Sunday we throwing down. AJ, I might need to find a way to get you on the live so you can do a poem through the speakers for the crowd. I might have to find a way to make that.
Oh, let's do that. Let's do that for sure, man. I do the Mother's Day when I did the one I'm working on right now.
I'm gonna try. I know I can get it where it can play through. I just got to figure it out. Cause I know I got the music playing that. I just got to figure out how to make it play back. But we're gonna figure that out. Cause I want you to do. I want you to do at least 2 poems. You know, I ain't gonna hold you all day, but at least 2 of them.
Okay, cause man, I poem I'm working on is I'm trying to write the picture I saw, and it's hard to write in pictures sometimes.
Yeah. I have a poem that I'm still working. There's a lot to it that I want to do to it, but I think I'm going to read it tonight just because. Okay. I need to hear it so I can figure out where I want to go with it. But there's a trigger warning, so y'all, you know, if y'all in the crowd, or this is still for Black women, for Black mother, but trigger warning, so y'all just be mindful. But AJ, Mike asked you a question first.
Yeah, 3 o'clock my time Sunday, which is 6 p.m. Eastern. But you know, I got my sister in charge of getting her there, so you know she's staying with my sister now since she got in the hospital. So I'm just you know, and I tell people, I say I haven't told her. I'm not scripting anything. It's just gonna be a conversation with my mom. So y'all gonna bear witness to it as I bear witness. So y'all might be shocked when I'm shocked or whatever, but that's where we're about to get. So yeah.
Well, I need to get you within that first hour.
Okay.
We start at 4, so between 4 and 5, which is what, 1 and 2 for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I definitely tune in.
All right, cool. I'll figure out. I'll send you a link and then figure out how to play it back through the speaker so they can hear it there. But we'll make it work. All right, let me try to do this poem here and see where we at with it, because this is a piece that I have to work on. I have something I want to do with this. The mourning of a Black mother. We've watched her as her baby laid in the street. The life that once breathed at the same measure as she did, now covered by love's favorite color. There's a chorus of flashing lights and screaming walkie-talkies playing in the background, and the families praying for answers. Answers that never find a home. Far too often we watch this movie. The nightmare that moved from Elm Street into low-income housing developments, you know, the hood, the block where Pop got shot, and the street lights don't work, but here we are again. You can count on the patrolman being there, late and agitating as always. His colorblind nature pouring from his mouth as natural as breathing because he knows who his target is. Coming round the projects when he come, it's sad that this soundtrack reminds us of how they whistle and how privileged Dixie, how they whistle privilege and Dixie on the same records since American flags hung white-only signs back when eye contact could cost you your life, much like a whistle. And a lie from the lips of Carolyn Bryant Dunham. I wonder why city streets thirst for black blood more than equality, more than justice. I guess life and feathered pens have a way to balance the scales, especially when it comes to black and brown folks, those most visible in daytime, yet more recognizable at night when the white sheets cover their dead bodies, those most visible during hunting season. Those who are flavored for disposal and target practice, always match opposite of righteous because of their skin tone, because their pigmentation, America calls it valueless. I wonder, what made bloodthirsty policemen acceptable? How we forgot this song, chime the same unanswered questions, how the melody hums an anti-melanin's theme song. A love song comparable to a nightmare no one can awaken from. How do we ignore black mothers? Broken by ideas of giving so much life just to bring forth what this country calls a bullseye. We are tired of using driving permit pictures for obituaries. Tired of burying these babies who are supposed to outlive us. Like, why do prayers of dying babies never flow past bathroom floors? The same place where broken tears seems to waste away. One would think black skin could cause more than a riot, more than chanted verbiage following a symbol of death. I wonder why no one told us prayers and tainted windows serve the same purpose. Protection only withstanding the limits of faith or the impact of tragedy. No one told us a black mother's "I love you" doesn't always have an answer, that it doesn't always match the largest heart. Those hearts large enough to keep loving after death takes the very thing she nearly died for and still find room to forgive who wronged her. Those who wronged her baby, those who robbed her of birthday smiles, Mother's Day cards. Black mothers are tired of remembering their first breath, matching the last one in the same place, wrapped in her arms with weeping eyelids, fathers standing there speechless as usual, just like the day of first feeding, unsure and nearly without breath, a thick air choking the life from the words family, from the word relationship. Black being the very part that keeps this sequence on repeat. Black being the reminder that death covering a body that once housed a voice, once said, mother, that once called from a black child, now silenced by a policeman, always leaving emptiness, filled her maternity space like an abortion. Because murder is acceptable, assassination now welcomes early retirement and paid suspensions. We are sick of yellow tape and police lines, sick of the guys they told us would always answer, the ones clearly too busy to hear us screaming for help and protection, or at least an explanation from this type of madness. I am sick of watching black mothers crying over dead babies. But maybe it's just what the media wants.
Man.
Yeah.
And you know, the most amazing thing is how everything is relevant.
Yeah.
When it comes to mothers that give life, it's easy to see how, you know, when she outlives her children, how does that feel? What references do we have to that? And we don't have any references. We just know that there's marching and there's signs and there's pickets and there's chanting. The way you said, it's like, so how do we realize that we are more than just what do we say, worn down tennis shoes? We're more than just worn down tennis shoes and hoarse voices.
My Omi is on the line. So Omi, thank you for coming in. I'm so glad. I'm going to do your poem, so you might as well stick around. It's coming up soon, so keep your line on. I know Rich is in your house, but you might as well stay on the line now.
Now, but I got one I found in there. I don't even know what it is.
Which you got to mute for a second, bro.
And it says, my mother would tell me stories I told her. I remembered some of them. The others, I'm not sure. And I'm sure my brothers or sisters were the culprit. Once, when I was about 5 years old, I asked her for a hug, explained how great it had been to spend this time with her. I can remember the look of amazement she wore as I began to tell her I was the king of Jupiter and was only visiting. I loved how Earth children played and ran about, told her I was sad for my time was up. She tells the story often now, probably much better than I did initially or ever will. My mother tells everyone how would tell the longest stories, how she had to cook and clean as though she was paying attention. I tell my sons what my mother says all of the time now. I bet I tell her sayings better than her, better than I remember, better than we can remember together.
Yeah. That better than that last line, AJ, sounds like it should be on a soundtrack. Like there should be a movie that follows that. It sounds like it goes right. You know what I mean? Because what that means, right? It's so much in that. It just sounds like it should be in the soundtrack. Yeah.
No, man, but I'm saying I think it's so amazing that the more we learn, the more we love. And the more we learn and the more we love the origin of where we began to learn.
Yeah.
And that's always our mothers.
That's always our mothers. That's always our mothers. My mom, which I know you getting ready to, my mom, and I'm glad she's on. She know we always make sure we acknowledge her. The best part of being able to call myself a poet is, number one, knowing that my mom had gifted me with this thing, right? It was all through our creator, right? But my mom was the one who actually, you know, she caressed it, right? By reading to me when I was young, that was her doing, right? But there's nothing better than to be able to do what I do. And my mom is available to be there all the time and wants to be there. Like, that's like the best thing in the world. Which is all over the place. I don't know where he at. He got two things in here.
I know when my thing was, I remember the first time my mom came to one of my porch events, and it was almost like church because she came down. She sat on the front row, right in the middle, and I'm nervous as could be because I'm like what? Why you got to sit on the front row? But man, it was so amazing, and I had to pay homage from the beginning. But it was like there was no denying it. It was like, okay, like this. You know, I say, okay, that's my boy, or that's my girl. Yeah. Sing that song, girl. Sing that, you know. And right. That kind of thing. And that I was like, okay, so now I got to revamp what I was gonna read because I got to make sure it sounds like something that would be honorable because we always try to honor our parents whenever they show up or whenever they're around.
Right.
And, you know, I tell my nephews and everybody, say, okay, what's your name? My name is Jarrell Lacey, son of Joe, son of Charles, you know. And the thing is, I said, I want you to know that you are not representing you.
Yeah.
When you go anywhere. I want you to know all these people before you, that's who you represent.
Right. Yeah.
So until we understand that I am not a representation of me, I'm representing all those before me. I'm the son of Birdley Houston. You know, this is, you know, she the one taught me how to hold his pen like this.
Mm-hmm. That part.
You know, she told me how to write between the lines and told me it was okay if I wrote outside them if I wanted to. But she told me to write between the lines first. This is how you're supposed to do it. But if you want to.
Right. You're welcome to it.
Yeah, you're not obligated to stay between these lines.
Witch, you got something? Or you working? I think Witch is working.
Witch is having just like I feel like I'm on the echo right now.
Yeah, you are. You got to turn that. Okay, hold on. I know what to do. Hold on a second. I got you. Hold still.
Okay.
Let me kick you out of that one.
Yeah, kick me out somewhere. Somewhere I'm doing too much.
All right, you coming now. Turn your volume down. You singing again.
You sure I ain't on 2 windows again?
I got you, bro.
Okay, hold on. Let me open it up then.
This is Mother's Day.
This is 10 times now Mother's Day edition. What's up, Fit Girl Butterfly Beautiful?
Well, I know it's Mother's Day. I had to catch myself. You still open up the goddamn window. That's how you think you get here, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, where my darn Google Docs? I can't even open my darn Google Docs.
Yeah, AJ, we did I did my first book signing, and I want to say, Wits is always there. Maomi was there. 2 of my brothers was there. My sister was there, and I brought them all up on stage. Man, it was such a I got pictures. I need to post those pictures again. It was such an amazing feeling to have them there and to share in that moment. And if you are a writer, I don't care what you write, share with your mom. I mean, if you got a relationship with your dad, share with your dad, share with your children, share your work with the people that are close to you, because they don't know how great you are until you expose it, because they're used to the greatness that you show them every day. If you don't show them that this is what you put on paper, they have no clue of how amazing you are. The last thing you want to do is leave here and they never get to tell you how great and amazing you are as a writer.
My son was going to Texas Southern, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think at the time I had 5 books.
Okay.
So I signed him and sent him all 5 books. So you have him, and I didn't tell him what to do, and I just sent him all 5 books because I was like, I know they're gonna be sitting somewhere, and somebody gonna know, like, who is this? That's just my dad. That's just my dad.
That part, just my dad.
Yeah, just my dad. And I think one day his friend told me, he said, yeah, man, I was reading your dad's book. And he said, what? I was like, so, and I don't think people notice until other people that they like, other people that they know, reference something that you've written or something that you said. They say, oh yeah, let me go back and double check that. Let me go back. You can't be reading more of my dad work than me.
I'm talking to my grandson. He's 10. Zaire is his name. And I told him, I said, well, grandson, I want to send you my poetry books, and I hope you enjoy them. But ask your mother, is it okay first? Because I don't want you to do things without your mother's permission, because that's how you do things, right? So I'm teaching him responsibility, and while doing it. And I said, I hope you like it. He said, oh yeah, I'm gonna like them. That's what he texted me. I'm gonna like them. And it's amazing because children don't always we don't understand the way children understand things. And then my grandson gets straight A's. So I know he's a smart young man. And so I'm hoping that him reading it helps whatever relationship he has outside of that, what I don't know. So him and his father, my son, him and his mother, his siblings, whatever. I'm hoping that does that he opens up. That's what I'm hoping.
But you can only, I think ensuring the gifts that we have, it's not just our obligation. Just like sometimes it's our duty to write some things we don't want to write.
Yeah.
And I'm saying when it comes to this, it's like, I don't know why this came. I don't know why this is here, but I'm going to try and do my best with it. And when you do, and eventually when you read it again, like some pieces, you say, oh, I get it. I get it now. I get why it showed up all unannounced.
How dare you? Yeah. Oh man, but this is such an honor, man. You and Mr. Wits are just amazing, and like I said, my Omi's on here watching, so she listening in, and it's great.
It's definitely.
Let me do this piece then.
Okay, come on with it.
Okay.
All right, this is more on the romantic side. Is just enjoy the poem. I think this is more of poem that I would share with the wife or fiance, baby mother, all things of that nature. Okay, girlfriend, however you look at it.
Okay.
So this is called She Asked Me for a Poem.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me for a poem. I said, roses are red because they blush in your presence. Violets are blue, so you never have to be. She said, cute. Now do a poem for me. A poem to express how you really feel. I said, a closed window looks down on a dirty courtyard, and black people call across or scream. She shook her head and said, just do a poem. I said, they please me not. These solemn songs, that hint of sermons covered up. She said, would you quit being silly and do a poem for me? I said, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like dust, I rise. She looked at me and said, I know. Do a poem, right? I said, let me tell you what God looks like. She said, stop playing. Do a poem for real. I said, well, love, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it.
Mm.
She said, come on now. Seriously. Do a poem. I said, because I could not stop her death, I will verbally reincarnate her. She said, see, you play too much. Too many games. Would you just do a poem for me already? So I sat there, quietly, staring deeply into her eyes for 3 long minutes. She smiled at me, batting her eyes like a round of applause. Catching up to her breath, she said, that was beautiful.
Go ahead, Wits. Boy, you're dangerous. You're dangerous. I saw that. I could see that. I can see that whole play out. Reminds me of Eugene O'Neill Before Breakfast. Is a 2-man. It's really a 1-man play, but the wife pops in and out of it, but she's not in it the whole one. But it's a really beautiful play. But it reminds me that I can see the whole thing.
Oh, that's what's up.
Now, I like it because it's like we're all waiting. We all see every poem as a poem.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we want you to tell the story of how my girl say sound like us. Right away from me.
Right. I bet it sound like your house. Listen, man.
Yeah, because she told me to write a love poem. I got a love poem that I wrote when she asked me that. I don't know where it is. I don't think it's in here. But
I've had a couple of moments when people literally ask me, would you write a poem for me? Would you write a poem for me? Well, I did that piece originally to pay homage to the depths of poetry through the different levels of poets. So that was really a homage piece originally for the poets.
Yeah, right. You can write me all the poets, all the lines referenced from other poets, and I like it because
right.
I like it that you didn't go deep into their poems. You just said, if you know of this author, this is one of their favorite lines.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is a poem that you should know. So she said, but it's just looking into your eyes. No, but it's like, okay, you can write me in your history, you know, all these things, and the poems we know, and we love them, and Crystal Stairs, and we know these poems, and we know the authors, and that's what makes us want to be everlasting like them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Say that, man.
Yeah.
Because we're always trying to write something to last longer than the moment that we scripted down.
Right. To stretch that moment. Exactly.
Yes, I want you to know that I didn't write this for you. I carved this in time's timeline. So it remained in this place. So anytime you want to hear it, you can revisit this one spot.
Here you go.
Because I got a poem talking about how, I was standing on this spot, and I believe when I was birthed, X marks this spot. I was supposed to meet you here.
Wow.
So I've been standing here every day till you came by, because that was my job. I knew what I was ordained to do.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing right there too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because I wrote, like the first, I wrote this love poem, right? And when I wrote it, I was actually doing a feature in Dallas at this place where there's this band called Melody Memories, and every time they perform somewhere, they say, AJ, come through, man. I want you to come and spit, because we would spit and it would be like we practiced. So when I went, I wrote this poem. I said, I just wrote this poem today. Faye said she didn't need his words, just that moment with him, not proving he was a wordsmith, spoke louder. Wow. And that's you looking into her eyes for 3 minutes. No, but I wrote this poem.
That's that woman nurturing coming in there. See, women will take your thoughts and nurture them, man. I'm telling you, next to come back, you have you a whole meal. You be like, you know what? I thought I was gonna have a little snack.
That's what I wrote. That's why that idea is why I wrote that poem, What God Looks Like. That's exactly it. Because it doesn't matter what you give them, especially a black woman. I don't give a damn what you give her. She gonna say, okay, hold on, let me show you what this really is. You ever go and see a lady? I don't care if you had a falling out or whatever it is, you deciding how the shit gonna go down when you get there. You already know when I get there, this is how this shit is going down. And you put something out your mouth and you waiting for the response so you can do that next thing. She 10 steps ahead of you.
But that started when you was young, going to the grocery store. When you better not ask for shit, you better not touch shit, you better not look at shit.
Cause you ain't getting shit.
That part.
Oh man.
But no, I think we can venture in the love portrait that was actually love portrait for the people we love, the mother of our children, the ones born with, because I think that matters, because mothers are everlasting regardless of if they're yours, and even the ones that are gone. Because my grandmothers, I spent summers with both my grandmothers, and man, I swear to God, they love me more than all the other grandkids. At least that's the way they made me feel.
I know that's right. Look, and who's to tell you different?
Exactly.
So there's a page on Facebook of my family, right? We have a family reunion in Greenville, Texas, where my grandmother lived, and I was in Mississippi. They was having a family reunion. I said, yeah, man, I wish I could be there, but y'all know Mama Vani loved me more than all y'all, right?
Ain't they just be starting shit?
Oh man.
Oh man, that's crazy.
I wish he would show up with all this.
Man, oh man. Okay, let me see what we have here. Yeah, this is just dope. This is just dope. Is it your go, AJ?
That's yours.
It's my go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my mother's poem.
Okay.
If you are a woman in here, and particularly a black woman, you should find yourself in this poem. It is written in a way that you can't miss you, and it's written that way purposely because I don't want any woman that reads this. You should be able to find yourself in here. Your grandmother, your great grandmother, your auntie, whoever raised you, any woman that has a strong fixture in your life should live within this poem. In the beginning, there was man. Birthed through the canal of a woman, she reigned supreme, even though it seemed that she was second by birthright. Let me explain to you what God looks like. She looks like human origin, like life, Like shelters in Superdome, she looks like Earth. Like a pathfinder in darkened forests. Like unbroken glass after man-made storms. She looks like early morning prayers, al-Fatiha. She looks like a precious casing, made strong enough to house and protect treasures. She looks like heaven. And not something you read in a good book, but more like belief. She looks like faith, like hope, like crying eyes that witness a sick baby's first smile. God looks like a 50th anniversary surprise, like milestone writings, like still I rise. Let me tell you what God looks like. She looks like comforter, like warm knit sweaters, like big city skylines. She looks like, yes, anybody can do it, but only God can do it better. Let me tell you what God looks like. She looks like hip hop and jazz, like the fundamentals of living large. She looks like cash checks, like woman, like hurt weighing by the sextillion. God looks like spring mornings. She looks like masterpiece, like for goodness sakes. See, a poet told me masterpiece is the epitome of beauty because masterpiece is something you cannot duplicate. So let me tell you what God looks like. She looks like baby mama, like single child, like stretch marks, like swollen womb, like miscarried baby, empty cradle, like barren wombs that still nurtures. She looks like dirty South, like project hallways. She looks like reason, Rasta, savior, creator. She looks like freedom, solidarity. She looks like swollen ankles and hard work. She looks like bad lady, like Sister Betty, Coretta Scott, Michelle Obama, the first lady. She looks like soul food. God looks like Deacon Fry's wife on Sunday mornings. She looks like matrimony, like the beginning of the beginning, like the depths of the great blue sea. She looks like, boy, you better get up off your knees. Let me tell you what God looks like. She looks like Negro, please, pointing her finger at child and husbandmen, giving them both the third degree. She suffers from cancers and thyroid disease, yet she still finds way to scrub kitchen floors without bending her sore knees. But let me tell you what my God looks like. She looks like the strength of the unseen. She is unconquered, unstoppable, indescribable. She is Umi. She is mother. She is queen. She is believer. She is sister. So sister, you tell me, what does God look like when you see her in the mirror?
Man.
Yeah. That's for you, Umi. I love you, baby.
No, that's dope, man.
Well, you brought that into the room, didn't you?
That's dope.
Yeah,
So
you know that's one of my pieces from you, man. I love it, man. Calm down next time. Calm your ass down. Ain't no reason for you to be so goddamn aggressive. We understand what God looks like now. If we didn't before, we got it. I love that piece. But you know, I love that piece.
When I began writing that poem,
Man,
I had to vision, like I was saying earlier, everything that I saw my mother do, that I saw other women doing, trying to do, wanting to do, desiring to do. My mom raised 8 children literally by herself.
come on, bro.
6 boys and 2 girls. And
Another
there's
6
a lot.
knuckleheads. 5 knuckleheads. I was pretty decent.
Let me do my mother on the live right quick.
That's what you're supposed to say to somebody else, you know, clarifies it differently.
Now, I just want to make sure y'all understand. I don't want to be no misunderstanding.
I got that. That's why I say my grandmother, I was her favorite. At all the grandkids. She had 13 kids. My grandma had 13 kids, so she had a whole lot of grandchildren. Right. And I was her favorite.
Hey, I don't give a damn what y'all say. I know my spot.
I was her favorite. Then y'all can claim spots after that. You know, whatever y'all claim.
Man, funny stuff.
Now, but this was probably my favorite love poem that I've ever written.
Okay.
Oh wow. And the title of it is "I Ask God for You." Says, I ask God for you, not someone like you or someone who looks like you. I literally ask God for you. I spent a lifetime studying how God answers prayers. This time I heard heaven say your name. It always comes in threes. I heard heaven say your name 3 times, and then there was thunder. After God speaks, he always ends a message with thunder. I believe that's just a heaven thing. You don't know how long I prayed for you, how every night I knew I grew a better description. After years of no answer, I decided to draw, knew I needed to paint a perfect picture since the others were great imitations. Didn't know in the beginning. No one knows in the beginning. It always starts with the feeling of real. I didn't want to dive in the ocean. While waiting on the cliff, he told me to stand. The diving part was his idea. It always seems love and falling goes hand in hand, or is it heart and heart? Either way, I knew there was jumping. The leap had to be voluntary. When I first refined my prayers, I knew designing your hair would take at least 3 nights. A pen, pad, and dictionary can't explain why everything when dealing direct with heaven would always have 3 parts. 3 days, 3 ways of saying to alleviate the possibility of having 3 different meanings. I defined the intricate details of your hair in ways only heaven can understand. I told him, give it the glory. The same glow of the burning bush, how Moses was too afraid to approach. It had to be breathtaking and beautiful. Make it curly as though it could lock if it wanted to lock. Give it the texture of stars and dreams. I touched one so I would know how it felt when you got here. I didn't describe your body. I didn't describe your body. For heaven has always mastered the building of elegant structures. But hearts require so many details, at least 3 months or 3 years of directions, of remembering the best, of recalling the most needed qualities. Love, or is it hearts? Or a balancing act, a perfect concoction of want, will, and need. I've watched hearts crash and burn too many times. I think some of the ones I placed my love in before, the back doors were removable. Latches were too loose. I don't know how love or where love leaked out, but it did. Ask heaven to make this heart of faith, tested in the depths of the wettest pain, the kind waves can't shake and storms can't climb it. I don't know how faith feels, but it has the strength of legend, of everything we believe could last. Give it the power of conviction, the assurance of a couple of eternities, connected to a smile, just as Jacob wore when wrestling angels. This smile had to be the same as Noah held on to when dark clouds began running across the clear midday sky. Let this smile bear blessings as the rock in the desert, giving life whenever dehydration is inevitable. I prayed our feet, knees, and back. We reinforced while dragging this complete set of luggage, filled with lessons and trials. We're not for sure if we made it through. I repeated twice more the blueprints for your smile. Complicated explaining why everything when dealing direct with heaven will always have 3 parts. I asked God to send me you. You are the 3 parts of me I've been missing. Even I wasn't aware 3 parts were missing. Heaven knew you would complete me. I'm not for sure heaven knows. I just know heaven knows. Then comes the clear sky and the loud burst of thunder. After God speaks, after God speaks, he always ends the message with thunder.
Come on, AJ. Say the first line again, AJ.
Oh, it's I ask God, what to say? Where is it? It's I ask God for you. Not someone like you or someone who looks like you. I literally ask God for you.
How the hell do you even write that? I wish I could have stole it. You remember that day we said the same shit? You said it. I wish that was it.
Hey, and if you the voice of God, we hearing that thunder.
Yeah, how about that?
Emmanuel Close, that sounds like the poem they're getting for the wedding. Now I'm gonna write y'all original piece, man. Y'all gonna have a brand new one, man.
Right, Kendra.
AJ gonna fuck around and marry us all. That goddamn.
I know, right? People be finding people to get married. AJ's doing the poem. We got to get married. Come on here.
Yeah, that's it right there.
No, man, but I'm really so amazed at how deep and how intrinsic the pieces are that both of y'all write. You know, because you can have it because you host on Thursday nights. You can have it. No, but I'm saying how you tie things in that no one knew went together. You know, like everybody know what gumbo is, and like when I was in the islands, we went spearfishing, right? Had conch, we had turtle, we had all these fish that I had never seen. They cut it, they dug this hole, put this big pot in there, threw it all in there. and it's like a type of gumbo in the islands, and I'm saying that's what your poetry sound like to me. It's like all these things that you never tasted, and when you taste it, damn, kid, you know, like what's that old English movie where it's, might I have another?
Oh man.
Oh, man. I tell you what, man, I can't wait. I can't wait till we can share with everybody the stuff that we're working on, things that we got coming out. But I'm really ecstatic, man. I'm really on a whole nother plane with just the ideas of what's coming, because of the greatness that's here, man. And you know, y'all just helped my pen game grow. I've grown so much within mixing this gumbo pot here. I've grown so much with. I'll say that.
Read what Miss Betty wrote.
I'm gonna end up remarrying my ex.
Oh man.
Miss
Betty is too much. I don't know what to do with Miss Betty. Miss Betty is
Miss Betty is something, man.
Yeah.
And her poetry, her pen game is. Whew. Rich, you got a poem? I guess we could do one more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We hear you whistling.
I'm gonna X out and come back in.
No. Do your poem, man. Don't X out. Do your poem.
Okay, can you hear me good enough to do the poem?
Oh yeah. Where you good? Yeah.
You mess
Okay,
around
I
and
got
X out and can't get back in. Do your damn poem.
Okay, I got you. On stage, she reminds me of a bird climbing the sun. The flight of a bird is so beautiful to see. Its bent wings beating against the weightless air. Its graceful glide when they spread like fingers of the hand. Its head dive hunting that never crashes ground, no matter how fast or close it approaches. The sky is but space till the bird flies.
Uh-oh. Wits. Oh, we lost him. Let's see, he might pop back in. He might be still doing the poem.
The Bird Flies was the last.
That poem, I love that poem, man. You got to see him do that in person. He actually destroys that poem. That's beautiful. He froze up. IG, I'm sorry, he froze up. My mother said, "Give that brother napkins, please." Okay, he's trying to link back up. I had to kick this one out. He's probably trying to come back in on the other one. Now his camera ain't just yet. I'll do my other one that I was gonna do while we waiting on him. This is a romantic black woman poem.
Okay.
I write black women poems all day long. That's just what I do. And God so loved the world, he gave us the black woman. Draped in a complexion that makes him smile even when we are disobedient. She still makes the sky surrender to every whisper she lays upon this earth. God so loved this world. He gave us his angels. He gave us natural healers in the image of warriors. They call her queen and goddess, and thus worthy of mother and grandmother, auntie and sister, daughters, nieces, and cousins. God so loved this world, he gave us a protector. The most beautiful lover you've ever seen. From clay, he built a sculpture that men ravish over. He built an image where dictionaries should only show a picture because mere words could never mirror her fancy. God so loved this world. I bet he cried when he saw her. When her image transformed from idea to unrealistic, and he made picture perfect shoulders, long eyelashes. He gave her wings that we couldn't see, but we watched her fly through tragedy after tragedy, still never bending to the point of no return. Even when no return painted a roadmap for her, she found a new way. One within herself, she found that God lives in her mirror. So God loved this world so much, he said, let there be light. It was the only way he could have a clear picture of perfectness. It was only for us to get a better view of what he could not say. God so loved this world that he gave us heaven. He gave us heaven in a voice. He gave limbs to balance the eye, what eyes cannot see, man cannot explain. And whether you're angered or happy, you know she's coming. And her rhythm might sound like jazz, blues, hip hop, or reggae, but she can R&B lullaby you to escape from the walking dead to the rising sun. Son, God, soul of this world. He bent himself inside of a blissful image and made paradise something he could hold on to. We could hold on to. We can put our fingers on. He gave us his holy kingdom with a heartbeat, with a smile, with loving arms that stretch past imagination. God so loved this world that when he saw her, he saw him. He saw a promise, saw footsteps that were like crashing waves to a deafened ear. Your laughs are like the sun heating the lands after a dead winter. God so loved this world that he gave us music. And it lives inside of every black woman you've ever seen, because God so loved this world that he gave us a black woman. And in her, we've got everything.
AJ is Raheem, should be Raheem. But the reason is Raheem is a brain. He just he don't know how to sit still. He's real smart. So you like
How you just gonna jump in the middle of my poem talking?
I'm sorry, man. I was talking to Granny, you know, and I was just saying how we mesh so well together. You know what I'm saying? There's no accidents, and I was saying how AJ is like Ra, just the older version, because like my younger brother is a very learned brother.
Yeah.
But he just, you know, sometimes like my uncle used to say,
Stay away from
stay
knowledge.
away from knowledge, because too much knowledge will drive you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I guess
too much knowledge to have you sounding crazy. Those not ready for it.
that part, you know, but he found his comfort in the crazy. You know. So, you know, we just waiting for him now. We waiting for him because he truly is a genius, and you know, when he get back, we gonna get him on the right path.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't mean for that conversation to be on the speaker. I was actually trying to have that on the outside, but you know, there's no accidents as how I feel. So it's just meant for me to bring it to a full circle. So now y'all know how I feel.
Now finish that piece you was reading, man, because I read mine up here. Finish that piece you read.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Start over. Start at the beginning.
After this piece here, I'm gonna have to step out because I gotta make a run. So after this piece, I'll be listening in. Okay.
Gotcha.
Much love to y'all though, man. You know, ain't nothing like this circle right here for me. Saying, you know, you guys say breathe life into you. It does the same for me every day. So I'm glad to have y'all. On stage, she reminds me of a bird climbing the sun. The flight of a bird is so beautiful to see. Its bent wings beating against the weightless air. Its graceful glide when they spread like fingers of the hand. Its head dive hunting that never crashes ground, no matter how fast or close it approaches. The sky is but space till a bird flies in it. Up there she breathes, her heart beats, she lives. No one sees her broken feathers in the silhouette of her span. No one sees fear in the path of her flight. On stage can be a replica of all sky is, when a bird of a poet frees from it. Amazing to see one up there, swimming the sky like swans do, claiming it like fields of cotton to frolic in. It's easy to see the envy in her escape, the beauty in such freedom. What a God-granted gift to be able to soar so high. No one looks for the struggle in the flap of her wings. No one wonders how many of the hunter's bullets she has dodged. No one questions where she finds shelter from the rain. Too used to the sight of her flying away. Her just wanting to be in this world of predator and prey. Misunderstood as if her voice is unclear, she tangles the sky like a dance instructor. Up there she breathes, her heart beats, she lives. No one sees her broken feathers in the silhouette of her span, the scars from her takeoff and landing struggles. Sightseers see a scenery, gunmen see game, the captives see sovereignty, all looking to free themselves, oblivious of her pain, her hurt, her cries misconstrued in the absence of her tear ducts. She flies through morning, and though many may not comprehend, up there she breathes, her heart beats, she lives. No one sees her broken feathers in the silhouette of her span. The bird's journey is the message, a kaleidoscope of dewdrops, a mirror inside another mirror, amazingly reflecting her most inner self, like the characteristics of one with an external heart, unveiling how beautiful imperfection can be. When I see her up there, she reminds me of a bird climbing the sun.
Yeah,
Swimming like swans.
I love that piece.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I first read it in slam practice, and you was like, "Man, that's the prettiest poem you ever wrote." Man, he said that melted my heart though to hear those words come out your mouth, bro. But he was like, "Man, that's the prettiest poem you ever wrote. You ain't never wrote no pretty shit like that before."
So let me give y'all the whole down, right? So after that, it was Grand Slam night. After my Grand Slam. Which had already made the team, regardless of whether he was gonna place, he was ready to go make the team, right? So he decides, final stage, I'm gonna do this poem and I'm gonna dedicate this poem to the women that's in the slam, to the ladies that was there. Because the team was pretty much made for who showed up for this Grand Slam. How does Joker win the slam with the poem that he just did?
Well, because there is a way to calm the audience to where anything comes out, the opening, where anything comes out after that, it's like this. That's the dopest thing anybody ever asked us to do is wait and listen to this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, but when I did it, I mean, it was a genuine act. Anybody that was there would know it. You know, it wasn't nothing strategic about it. Like it was just what I heard that night. I heard so much pain, and then I knew the journey behind these stories. So I was like, man, I'm not here to compete with my sisters. I'm here to hand it over to either one of you. And it was crazy. The crowd just voted for me, and it just went that way.
No, but I'm saying there's a way. We don't know where our words will land when we write them. We just know we did our best of putting them down.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it's that moment. That moment's when the birds and the swans agree that the sky can be the ocean and shit.
I don't have a response to that.
Oh man!
Now, but the one I was gonna read, since this is gonna be the last one. I wrote a poem for my son when he graduated. You know, when he graduated, I was like, okay, so I'm writing this poem for him, and I posted it on Facebook. And then some other people started hitting me up. Hey, can I share this? Can I print this up and give it to my daughter that's graduating? You know, and I'm like, sure. You know, you know. And there's one lady that go to our slams all the times. She called me crying.
Wow.
I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? She said, I just read that poem, and I wasn't expecting anything like that from. It was just a poem I wrote for my son, and I wrote it. I handwrote it in a card and gave it to him for graduation.
Wow.
And I printed it up and framed it too, so he could have both versions. But this is that piece. It don't even have a title because it's in What If There's No Title? It says, dreams are easy to come by, but much harder to keep. Friends would want to borrow yours sometimes. It's okay. Even when they steal the parts they understand, that's okay too. Your dream will start out a little foggy. It may not be clear for a while. You will know it's yours by the way it attaches to your palms in that never let go kind of way. Doubters would see it too. Keep them around. You will require their negatives to test your positives. Your positives where your happy lives. No one can gift you happy. You may occasionally misplace your own every now and again. It's easy to get caught up when things don't go your way. When your present best isn't good enough, when your all doesn't suffice, when you've done all you can, when you have to ask someone else for help. There's a gentleman inside of you. Grow him into a gentle man. Hands up for holding, not hitting. Helping is easiest when asked, but help those you pass even if they don't know they need help. Even when you're in a hurry to get somewhere, you will have to grow some from the process. Love is a different matter. I guess because everyone has a story of it falling apart, of it not working to plan. Truth is, love has no plans and can't fall apart. Love is just love. We build it good or bad. We all have a tendency of breaking it, of tearing off the rough edges to make it fit exactly where we thought it should. We think love will work on its own even when we fail to work it. Know this for sure. You can't take it back once it's given. Can't stop loving someone when they claim to have stopped loving you. No one has the ability to point out your purpose. Your purpose more than likely have found you by now. It usually starts out as something you may be slightly good at. Better isn't a trivial pursuit. It takes more work than you think, more work than you're willing to put in at first failure. Nothing from this point will be easy, and nothing will be as hard as you were told or think. Your best is a mathematical formula you haven't written yet. You will be scientifically adjusting it for the rest of your life. Have fun, your fun. Don't follow, always lead. Or rather, find those whose lips feed their feet perfectly, and the sentences formed by the sounds they make. I love you more than me, always more than me. I got you whenever you need me to get you. You have everything you need inside of you. Have the patience to search yourself first, and second, and third, and maybe fourth and fifth, because it may not be visible to your outside eyes. If you don't take your time, take your time. Nothing is promised, not even tomorrow's. Treat every day with care. This one is new. I've called you sir all your life out of respect to practice you respecting yourself. I could always see the king in you. If you respect yourself, no one else can disrespect you. Cursing is okay, but practice speaking in sentences. You never know when they will ask you to speak to presidents or CEOs or to more students than the arena occupancy assigned allowed. I love you more than me, always more than me. You're great already. It is time for you to discover how much of you you're willing to share. Others will see it in you even if you don't. Today is the first of many miraculous days. Enjoy. Remember, you have more work to do. Always expect the unexpected, but be better on purpose. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. You honor me. America will treat you as a man now, no longer a boy. Pay attention to who you allow in your circle. Not everyone deserves to be there. Don't act as if you're great. Be great. Being great is not an act. Follow your dreams. Take your time. Do your best. Are the 3 rules I offer you to live by and love. Every time you give your all, it will not always be appreciated, but you can grow a new all. Never a second opportunity to give your all the first time. I love you more than me. Always more than me.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's just storm just came out of nowhere, and my stuff is starting to slow down. So we better get off before we get cut off, because it's starting to spin on my end. I don't know if it's spinning on y'all's end.
Man, but I love both of y'all, man. It's always an honor, man, just to hang with y'all, and definitely to sit here and read and hear this work that ain't for no live, ain't finna be in no slam, ain't finna be in no other arena. We just reading pieces that we just randomly. And I'm saying, man, every piece you read, Ja, is dope. Every piece you read, Wits, I got notes and shit, is dope. And then, I appreciate both of y'all more than you know, man, because it is. I think Faye said it best. She said, because when my best friend, his name is Jamal Clark, I call him Ja, passed last year, April 1st of COVID. And when Faye told me, she say, "Look, God gave you another job," and he say, and he say, God placed Wits and John in your life because that was the only way all three of y'all would be balanced. And I'm like, wow,
bro. Looking at my journey, right, from the time that we started, once we got really connected. I mean, Wit's been with me since he was born, so that, you know, he's been here. We've done what we've done for all of these years, right? Timo, what's good? But since the three of us have become that three-headed monster, if you would, I look at so much of the journey that has transpired. Bro, I got nominated for Poet Laureate of Charlotte, and I didn't know that was coming. And so to be able to say that I can take this title and now I can take my brothers with me on this journey is just beyond me. And so there's so much that comes from this, all the books, all the writings, all the stuff that we're talking about that people don't know we're working on behind the scenes. All these great things could not have been had we not been in this pandemic, number one, and then meeting. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here working with you, bro. Meeting you, man. Finally, you know, getting close enough that I can tell you my brother and I love you. And Wits, I mean, that's my brother. I love him, you know, just the same. And it's just like, it's so amazing to have this unit, man. This is, boy, this storm is coming. It's my whole house just shook. I'm going to get off. I'm going to do like the old folks. I'm hanging up for the damn.
Go sit in the middle of the living room.
Turn everything off.
Yeah.
Candles.
Now, man, but I love both of y'all. Which, man, I'm saying, man, it's an honor just to hang, man. And I'm saying, I'm so proud of the show. I thank everybody that came on IG, man, 10 times now. Man, I appreciate this show. We're finna definitely make it a podcast. We're gonna actually build a whole lot of things around this show. And I appreciate Mr. Wits, Coach Ja, for being my partners in this endeavor, man. And I'm looking forward to everything that comes from this.
Yeah, I'm
now
so
Here
go
I'm
Wits.
back. Yeah, I thought y'all was getting rid of me. Y'all can't get rid of me.
He back twice.
Oh man. Nah, I just want y'all to know I love y'all the same, man. Y'all make y'all making my life, man. Real talk. Y'all keeping me in my happy place when it's times when it's hard to smile. So I love y'all, man.
I love you. I love y'all right back, man. It's just been so much. Right, Kendra, and be quiet. So much that's been happening in life, and I'm very excited about it. And man, it's just I can't even begin to explain.
Kick one of me out.
I don't know which one to kick out. Talk.
My twin. Get my twin out of there.
I think you're going now.
Man,
that's what's up.
I'm gonna tell you, man, I can't wait till people discover what it is we're working on.
Man, I can't wait either.
The magic that's there, man. I've been wanting to let it out the bag. You know, sometimes I can't hold water, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like a motherfucker with a weak bladder. You hear me? I can't hold it.
You better wear some defense, nigga.
Right. I ain't even get there yet.
No, but man, I'm looking forward to all these Mother's Day poems gonna be ready for Sunday. I'm finished.
I can't wait. I have some that I'm working on, some ideas I got, and I can't wait.
Yeah, Sunday is gonna be amazing anyway, man. Because we're gonna do the Poet Is In again. And man, the last time we did that was so magical, bro. That was real magic for me, man, because I think that was actually the very first time that me and you have done the event, just me and you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's always been a vision of mine. So that was big for that. But the reactions that we got from the people that we did the work for just made it so much more, man. Like I never anticipated to make people cry like we did, bro. You know.
And we got to do that again soon, man. We got to really put some things together. I have some. I got some ideas of some things I'm working on. It's Thunder and Lightning. I'm going to get off here for real. I got some ideas, things that I'm working on, and I really want to make sure that we stay on point with that. So everybody that's tuning in, thank y'all so much for being here. Yeah, Tima, you already know my friend Tima on here. I've known her since I was in middle school. She's been through so much in her life, man, but she's a very genuine heart. I got much love for her. She's one of the original Brooklyn natives, and she's on. I'm glad you came through. It's Mother's Day, so I'm gonna send you this link so you can see all the Mother's Day poems we did. I'm gonna send it to you on IG so you can have the link on Facebook to watch back all the Mother's Day poems we did. Because she has children, and we want to definitely make sure all the mothers get to listen in and hear some greatness. So, brothers, I love y'all.
Yeah, love y'all too, man. Get ready, man. Get out of the storm. Get out of the storm.
It's Big Thunder too. Look, I'm out. I'm gonna call y'all later on. We going. We out there. I gotta get out. I gotta make sure my phone's is charged. I got my candles and flashlights and shit.
Well, he told you every time God speaks, there's thunder.
Yeah. Well, this thunder right here is for real. I'm in the country. All right, look, I'll call y'all in a little bit.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
We love y'all.
I love you, boys. I'll see y'all later.
All right.